It is a hot, steamy night. Just a bit of a breeze blowing out towards center field. The lights have been turned on here at Shea Stadium, and we have a pretty good turnout on hand. For the Cubs tonight, Ivan De Jesus will be leading off at shortstop. Jose Cardenal to bat second, playing in left field, and Larry Bittner at first base, batting third. And by the way, none of those three fellows was able to get on with a base hit last night. Now we got to pause a moment for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
So let's hope that those three fellows at the top of the order will be able to get on a few times tonight. Maybe the Cubs can break out on top for a change. Bobby Mercer had a couple of hits last night, will be hitting in the cleanup position. Jerry Morales has been picked for the All-Star squad. Richly deserved award for the outstanding first half that Mr. Morales has had for the Cubs this year. He starts tonight, by the way, batting .334. We're just absolutely delighted and thrilled that Jerry Morales is getting that recognition which he so richly deserves. It's going to be a kick to see him in that National League All-Star squad right here in New York City over at Yankee Stadium next Tuesday night. Steve Olivares at third base tonight. Manny Trio, who also is going to be on that All-Star squad, and we're just tickled to death for Manny. He came up second in the voting for the second base spot, and I'm sure he'll see a lot of action in the All-Star game also. George Mitterwald, who hit that two-run homer last night, his sixth of the year, to give the Cubs a temporary lead, will be batting eighth. Ray Burris, the starting pitcher, 1-1 against the Mets for the year. For New York, Lenny Randle at third base, and here come the Mets out of the dugout on the first base side. Randle at third base, Bobby Valentine at shortstop, Valentine hitting second. Steve Henderson, who did us in last night, running out to left field, hitting third. Bruce Beauclair at first base, batting cleanup. Johnny Stearns, the catcher, hitting fifth. Mike Vail in right. Lee Matzilli in center. Doug Flynn, the second baseman, and the pitcher, Jerry Koosman, a record of 6-10. Now Jane Jarvis at the organ with our national anthem. Well, you think it isn't a steamy night? Left-hander Jerry Koosman, after the national anthem was completed, did a quick job of mopping his brow. Puts the Mets cap back on. He is 0-1 against the Cubs for the year before Ivan De Jesus steps in to lead off the ballgame. Let's take time out for this message.
Some people only sell paint. True Value Hardware stores make it. And who knows more about paint than the manufacturer? True Test paint from True Value Hardware stores has become one of the nation's best-known, fastest-growing brands. True Test paint like Weatherall acrylic latex house paint. It applies like a latex, wears like an oil base, and protects your home from all kinds of weather. And True Test Easy Care latex flat enamel with a hard enamel finish. Most stains just wash away, so you won't have to repaint as often. Yet it still has the soft look that complements any room in your home. And Easy Care has earned the Good Housekeeping seal. Easy Care and Weatherall are among the many True Test paints made in True Value Hardware stores' own factories. And they are among the most efficient and modern paint factories in the paint industry. So when you want quality and real paint know-how, go to the paint maker. your participating True Value hardware store, because True Value is more than just a name. It's their way of doing business.
All right, Ivan De Jesus, who was hitting a few ground balls to infielders tonight after he completed his work in the batting cage. Wanted to see how it felt to be a coach to hit some of those grounders, and he was having some difficulty. A lot of them were line drives. Let's see if he can get a couple of them here tonight. He was hitless last night in 4 at-bats, and Ivan steps in batting .272. The right-hander has a pair of homers this year and 27 runs batted in. The windup first pitch. Picks it just outside at the knees. Ball 1 of the game is underway. Working behind the plate tonight, big veteran umpire Harry Wendelstedt. Dennis Lowry coaching at third. Jack Bloomfield at first. The windup by Koosman. Swing at a drive backhanded by the shortstop. Valentine, a long throw. He's got him on a great play. Bobby Valentine on a hard hit smash to his third base side. Backhanded the ball and displayed a rifle arm from the edge of the outfield grass, shooting down Ivan De Jesus by a step, and there's one away. Fine play by the veteran Valentine. He's in there because Bud Harrelson has his hand in a cast. Harrelson, no way could have played that one any better than Bobby did. Here is Jose Cardinal. He was hitless in 4 trips last night. Junior now batting .207 for the year with a homer and 6 runs batted in. Koosman in the windup. Cardinal takes the pass ball for a strike on the outside corner. 341 down the line. 371, then to 396, 410 straight away. Here's a pitch, a fastball for a strike call. Bumped in 2 with a lot of smoke on him. 0-2 to Cardinal. We've just gotten underway at Shea Stadium. Here's the windup. Wastes the pass ball high. Ball 1, strike 2. Satch Davidson umpiring at first base tonight. Ed Montague at second. Paul Pryor at third. Koosman's 1-2 pitch. Look out! He almost took his head off with that one. He hit the deck in a hurry. Lost the cup batting helmet. But Jose, getting up slowly, was not hit by the pitch. Thank heaven. And the count on him, ball 2, strike 2. They said the Phillies have taken an early lead over the Cardinals 2-0. Pittsburgh out in front of Montreal tonight 1-0. That one's in the second inning. White Sox in their first game jumped out in front of Toronto early, and they are leading in that one 4-0 in their first game tonight. Boston out in front of Cleveland 2-0 at the end of 2 innings of play at Cleveland. Now we're ready to go. Wind up in the 2-2 delivery. Chucks his swing at the ball inside. Ball 3, strike 2. Koosman's earned run average 3.14, and that's a far better earned run average than you would think of he would have when you look at his won and loss record. There's a pitch swung out and fouled, and it hits the plate umpire, Harry Wendelstedt. But he gets up, he's limping around, and apparently he's going to be okay. He has won 6, Koosman has, and lost 10 this year. Lost his last 2 outings. Jose looking into the Cub dugout to Tony Garofalo. The trainer says better come out and check the plate umpire Wendelstedt. Now the Mets trainer coming out of their side. Over on the first base side here at Shea Stadium. Wendelstedt, big veteran, was shaken up considerably by that one. In that first inning for the Phillies tonight, Greg Luzinski walloped his 17th home run of the year with a man on to get them out in front of the St. Louis Cardinals. That shot, by the way, for Luzinski came off his old teammate, Tom Underwood. Steve Carlson, nominated to the National League All-Star pitching staff, working tonight for the Phillies. Wendelstedt says he's okay. And the count on Junior Cardinal. Ball 3, strike 2. Koosman has worked 131 in 2/3 innings. Just making an announcement here we're going to try to catch. 3-2 pitch. Fastball, he lost him too high. Jose coaxes a walk. That's the 49th issued by Koosman this year. Oh, he's given up a lot of bases on balls. Only 2 of them have been intentional. Larry Bittner, like De Jesus and Jose, was shut out last night in 4 official trips. Stepped in hitting .289. Left-hander with a half a dozen homers. He's driven in 33 runs for the year. Lou, did you catch that announcement about Joe McDonald, the general manager?
Yes, they withdrew their protest. The New York Mets withdrew their protest against the Giants in that rain-delayed game. The Giants...
There's the first pitch, and he takes it for a strike on the inside corner.
The Giants were leading 10-0, I think, early in the ball game, and the umpires did not wait the maximum length of time before they called it. Even though the score 10-0, why McDonald wired Chuck Feeney that he withdraws his protest.
So apparently that game holds up and becomes an official victory for the Giants and an official defeat for the New York Mets then. Here's the pitch swung on, a drive into right field. It's going to be in there for a base hit. Cardinal will only advance to second base as Mike Vail, right fielder, came in quickly, charged that ball, which was hit so hard. Jose could go no further than second. So the Cubs have runners at first and second with one away, and here is Bobby Mercer, who last night was 2 for 4. And the Cubs fans here giving Bobby a big hand, and of course a lot of the New York fans who remember him in his days over at Yankee Stadium with the New York Yankees. Also give fella from Oklahoma quite a round of applause. Batting .270 for the year, dozen homers, 54 runs batted in. Walk and a hit. Runners at first and second. Koosman from the stretch, the southpaw's first pitch, a fastball foul, back out of play. 8 pitchers have been named by Sparky Anderson to his National League All-Star squad. Rick Russell, Bruce Sutter from the Cubs. We have not had any official word yet as to whether Russell will be the starting pitcher, but we certainly hope that he will get that honor because he certainly deserves it. Give me the other pitchers in a moment. 0-1 delivery. Mercer takes, and it's a strike. Right over the heart of the plate, 0-2 on him. Don Sutton, Tom Seaver. Now, of course, with the Cincinnati Reds, Sutton with the Dodgers. Andahar with Houston. Right-handers in addition to Russell, Rick Russell and Bruce Sutter. Then left-hander Gary LaBelle with San Francisco. Steve Carlson of the Phillies. John Candelaria of the Pirates are the other pitchers to the National League All-Star team. And there's a foul ball back out of play. Fastball that time to Bobby. 5 of those 8 are going to be making their first appearance in the All-Star game. Joaquin Andahar, Candelaria, Gary LaBelle, Rick Russell, Bruce Sutter, the Cubs. Carlson, Seaver, Don Sutton have all been there before. This is going to be Seaver's 10th appearance in the All-Star game. 0-2 pitch, Cardinal goes. Pitch with a strike, a throw to third. He is out. Victor did not go. And that retires the side. Mercer taking the pitch knee-high for a strike. So he is out. And Cardinal trying to steal third on that pitch. Shot down at third base. Stearns to Randall. Slid right into the tag. I am sure that Jose was on his own. The double play, the 71st of the year for the Mets. No run. 1 hit. Another promising start, but nothing on the scoreboard. 1 man left on. After a half inning. Cubs, nothing, and the Mets, nothing.
A new refrigerator-freezer combination, a new car, maybe a garage to keep it in. Meeting needs with major purchases like these over a short span can occasionally happen to most families. If it's happening to yours, remember, a lot of families like yours are calling Friendly Bob Adams of General Finance Corporation at Andover 32020. That's where you can pay off your debts with a bill consolidation loan. General Finance is also where friendly professionals help make it simple and easy for people like you to own the things you work for. 1 convenient consolidated payment a month. Easy to keep bill payment records. You know what you owe and how much you pay. Come to the Friendly Professionals for financial assistance. Call Friendly Bob Adams at General Finance, Andover 32020. That's Andover 32020. There are over 65 offices in the Chicagoland area.
Also an office in Addison.
It'll be Lenny Randall, Bobby Valentine, and Steve Henderson to face Ray Burris. That was such a surprise maneuver of Jose Cardinal's, going with the count of 2 strikes on Mercer, that he caught Mercer completely flat-footed. Me looked like he was startled. And it's an inning-ending double play. Lenny Randall last night had a couple of hits. One of them was a double, and he was out trying to stretch it into a triple. Now hitting .314 with an 8-game hitting streak, powerfully built, short, left-handed batter. Straightaway stance. 3 homers, dozen runs batted in. Burris' first pitch. Tries to butt it. Gets it on the third base line, but it is a foul ball. Randall streaking down that line. Returns with a count of strike 1 on him. Dennis Summers, last year was the manager of the Chicago Cubs Farm Club at Midland, Texas, coaching at first base. Tom Burgess coaching over at third. Summers lives up in Wisconsin. He had a whole flock of his relatives. And from way up in northern Wisconsin when the Mets were Wrigley Field just recently. Randall back in. Here's the pitch. Takes it inside. Toronto came up with 3 runs against the Sox in the top of the 5th inning of their first game, but the Sox are still leading 4-3 in game 1 at the end of 5. Fastball low. Ball 1 and a strike 2 count on Lenny Randall. Oliveris up on the edge of the grass where it's cut away at third. Burris delivers. Fastball swung on a high bouncing ball to DeJesus. He has to wait for it. He's got it. Throws. Backhanded niftily by Larry Bittner right out of the dirt at first base. And Randall is out of there. That's one of those that can be so frustrating to an infielder. You just have to wait till that ball finally comes down within reach. And Ivan got an awful lot on his throw to first base. Randall is exceptionally fast. One away here is Bobby Valentine, who made a great play, robbing DeJesus of an infield single. Valentine hitting .162. They got him from San Diego at the June 15th trading deadline. Right-hander takes the fastball for a strike. 0 for 3 last night. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll be on the air in Chicago at 12:45. 15 minutes later for our network, and the starting pitcher for the Cubs, Steve Renko. And the starting pitcher for the Mets, Nino Espinoso. There's a ball a little bit high. Ball 1, strike 1 on Valentine. Then the Cubs will be at Philadelphia for a twilight doubleheader Friday. Single game Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Here's the windup of the pitch outside. Ball 2, strike 1. Burris has earned an average. Very, very high. 4.98. 2-1 pitch. It's too high. Ball 3, strike 1. And he has had to work from behind very frequently, especially in his last 4 outings. One of them was a victory over the New York Mets with the Cubs rallied miraculously in the 9th inning. Pull one out. Here's a swing and a deep drive down the right field line. Mercer coming over near the foul line, gloves it one-handed in fair territory, about 330 feet away, and there's one away. Remember that game on Saturday, 25th of June? Cubs came to bat trailing 4-1 in the bottom of the 9th inning. There was a collision in the outfield by the Mets. There were a couple of other miraculous things happen. And when it was all over, the Cubs had a 5-4 victory. And Ray Burris was credited with that win. That's his last one this year. In his last 3 outings, he's only pitched a total of 9 1/3 innings and given up 20 hits and 13 earned runs. That's his last 3 outings. A total 9 1/3 innings. First pitch here is a strike.
I think you mentioned and hit the nail right on the head when he says he's been pitching from behind. He's lost his control quite a bit in his last outing.
Yeah.
Consequently, he's thrown a lot of pitches.
Here's a swing and a ground ball right side. Trio has it. Burris off the mound. Takes that throw from Manny Trio in time to retire Steve Henderson. Sounded like he cracked his bat on the ground ball. It's 3 up, 3 down. Let's hope that augurs well for the rest of the night for Ray. At the end of 1 full inning of play at Shea Stadium in New York, no score.
There's nothing like having a friend at the factory when you're buying a new car. I'm Mike Pyle, and I'm lucky because I know everyone at Wild Oldsmobile in Libertyville. Wild Olds, that's where I buy my cars, me and a zillion other people. You know, Wild is the world's largest selling Oldsmobile dealer. It's easy to see why. The salespeople, the mechanics, they're all anxious to serve. Not only me, but everyone who walks in the door. I've seen first-time customers treated like long-lost friends. It's hard to believe, but the world's largest Olds dealer operates pretty much like a friendly little ma-and-pa grocery store. I recommend you give Wild Olds a try. You'll feel right at home with their super low prices. You'll like their service department, too. It's hard to beat. Why, they even wash your car when the fixing's finished. Believe me, fans, you don't have to be a Mike Pyle to get personalized treatment from the world's largest selling Olds dealer. Everyone gets the red carpet at Wild Oldsmobile in Libertyville. It's like having a friend at the factory.
Well. Glad it wasn't tonight's scorecard anyway.
Well, that'll cool you off anyhow.
Boy, it is a steam bath here, isn't it?
Cold shower.
Spilled a whole glass of ice water. I think that's what it was.
Well, you would have never spilled it if it was anything else.
That's right. I'll tell you, you try to get a glass of water in a restaurant here, and it's going to cost you your life.
It costs you your life anyhow if you eat. You just don't want to eat here in New York. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
You know, you can get a nice cup of coffee and a roll for $3 or $4.
That's right. You mean a cup of coffee and rolled? Did you say? Did you say cup of coffee and rolled?
Yeah, you can get that too. It'll cost you a little more. Gary Morales in there. While I've been mopping up what I spilled, he has looked at 3 pitches that missed the strike zone. And there's... I'm sorry, there were 2 that missed. That one missed, and it's now ball 3, strike 1 on Jerry. Oh, he's got to really be thrilled. He named that all-star squad as one of the outfielders, hitting .334. Fastball, that's too high. He coaxes a walk. Second one issued already in this ball game by Jerry Koosman. Now Steve Oliveris, 1 for 3 last night, getting .303 for the year with 5 homers, 32 runs batted in. Koosman has finished 4 out of 18 starts this year. Big lefty's ready. Here's a fastball. Oliveris takes it low. Ball 1. Steve, of course, hitting right-handed. As a right-hander, he's batting .318 this year. One of his 4 home runs, he's hit righty. Bends over that plate. Koosman looks over at first base. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Fouls the fastball back into the backstop. In case you missed it, the Cubs start this game tonight. Just 4 games in front of the Philadelphia Phillies. With Pittsburgh 6 games off the pace and the Cardinals 7.5 away. Beginning to feel the hot breath of those Phillies again. A couple of weeks ago, the Cubs had about an 8.5 game lead. Here's a pitch, swung on at a deep drive, left field. Going back, Steve Henderson, Amatzili. It is back. It is gone. A 2-run homer. Steve Oliveris has just walloped his 6th home run of the year. The Cubs lead the New York Mets 2-0. Disappeared over that green wall to the right of the 371-foot mark. Right near the poles that support those 2 high light standards out there. Steve Oliveris with his 2nd homer as a right-hander this year. And he really got all of that when his Koosman came up with it a bit. Bases empty, nobody out, and here is Manny Trio batting .315. Takes the fastball, a strike at the belt. Manny 0 for 3 last night. The happy bunch of Cubs in that dugout behind third. There's a swing and a miss and a good fastball. It's 0-2. 2-0. On a walk and a homer off the bat of Steve Oliveris. Cubs now with 57 home runs for the year, 24 on the road. Here's the pitch, fastball. Fouls it into the seats over in the first base side. 0-2 remains the count. Great gentleman and former outstanding football coach at the University of Illinois, Ray Elliott. Here at the press box tonight. There's a swing and a miss on a fastball right up at his eyes. A beginning, Manny, with good fastballs. Ray, of course, coached the Illini to their First appearance in the Rose Bowl when that pack was begun between the Pac-8 and the Big Ten Conference back in the late 40s, still with the University of Illinois, and here in New York on some business, along with young Mr. Jan Schaefer from Danville. Mr. Schaefer's father, the owner of WDAN in Danville. Mitterwald takes. That one's a little high. George last night walloped his 6th home run of the year. Gave us a temporary lead. Hitting .253, the right-hander looks at a fastball outside. Well, some of those old Illini really stay in good shape.
Yes, we do.
Not too many of them, but one on my right really looks great. Here on my left, Lou Boudreau has his swing at that. What the heck is his recipe anyway, I wonder?
Hard work, clean living.
Well, say something I'd like to try, will you? There's the swing of the mitts and Mitterwald fans.
I don't know. You'd have to talk with him. I think George Lake is taking care of him on his diet. Lake has a new diet out.
Yeah.
It is tremendous. Really. It takes years off of your life, plus the fact that it takes a little weight off, too, in this particular spot. I'm not trying it. I don't know what it is.
Ray Burris in there. The swing of the mitts and a good fastball. George Lake never weighed more than 110 pounds in his life. What's he going on a diet for? Another fastball swung on a miss. I think Guzman was very, very upset with that homer by Ontiveros. He has thrown nothing but real heat, as they say these days, against both Trio and Mitterwald, and he's spanned them, and 2 great fastballs to Burris. He's out in front of him. 0-2 with the bases empty. 2 gone. Here's the pitch. Took a little off of that one, and it's outside. Ball 1, strike 2 on Ray. Well, let's see. Montreal has tied the Pittsburgh Pirates 1-1 at the end of 3. Gary Carter with a home run of John Candelaria. The lefty will be representing Pittsburgh in the National League All-Star pitching staff. Here's a breaking pitch swung on, and he fouls it down the third base side. Buzz Capra going for the Braves tonight at Cincinnati against Jack Bellingham, rather. Bellingham 8-4 for the Reds. And they find themselves 9.5 games behind the Dodgers tonight in that Western Division race. Here's the pitch. Burris swings and misses. On a fastball again. Well, after a walk and Steve Ontiveros' 6th home run of the year, Mr. Guzman strikes out the next 3 Cubs that he faces. 2 runs, 1 hit, nobody left on. Let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
7:31 is the time. This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
It'll be Bruce Beauclair, Johnny Stearns, and Mike Vail to face Ray Burris. What's the score? The Cubs 2, the Mets nothing.
Hey, did you hear what happened to Charlie Hamilton in Rockford? $10,000. That's what happened. He bought himself one of those Illinois State Lottery instant bingo tickets, made $10,000 just like that. Same thing happened to John Adamczyk in Chicago. Isn't that wonderful? Why, people are winning all over the state. Rose Nostoff in Crete won $500. So did Walt Konechny in Harwood Heights, Ed Urban in Wooddale, and Pat Peretti in Chicago. That's nothing to sneeze at, $500. Why, in just 4 weeks, almost 2 million people have won anywhere from a free ticket to $10,000. And I hear there's still more than 6 million winning tickets left. You can play instant lottery bingo anytime, wherever they sell lottery tickets. So don't miss out on all the fun. You could even win a chance at the $1 million drawing. Oh, my heavens, I almost forgot. You heard about Fossil Bridge in Burbank, didn't you? Well, he won $10,000, too. I tell you, this instant bingo's the talk of the town, and you take my word for it.
Well, a couple of folks dropped by to say hello to Lou and to me and wish the Cubs well tonight. Let the folks back home know that they're here rooting from Oak Park, Illinois. Nancy and Tom O'Connell, his daughter Mary Beth. Here's a swing on the first pitch. He lines it right to the shortstop. Bruce Beauclair, the first baseman. Hammers one into the glove of Ivan De Jesus, and there's 1 pitch, 1 away. That'll bring up Johnny Stearns. Batting .290, 0 for 3 last night. Tom O'Connell, Nancy and daughter Mary Beth. That couldn't possibly be the Tommy O'Connell played quarterback years ago for the Illini, could it? In the furniture business now. Johnny Stearns taking plenty of time getting in there. Oscar Gamble has hit his 17th home run of the year for the White Sox tonight in the 6th inning to increase their lead over Toronto in their first game. And they're still at bat, leading now 5-3. Stearns with 10 homers, 35 runs batted in the first pitch. Dips just outside the strike zone. Paul Sherman from Farley, Iowa. That's just a little bit west of Dubuque here tonight with his son. Here's the pitch. Takes the strike on the inside corner. Breaking ball to him. Really from Farley, Iowa. Paul Sherman, his two sons, John and Mike. They plan to be here tomorrow afternoon, too. Here's a fastball. It's a strike right at the letters. Ball 1, strike 2. And the Mets find young catcher Johnny Stearns. Burst delivers. Too high. Ball 2, strike 2. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau reporting. Cubs tonight trying to be sure of themselves of not losing any more ground to the Phillies. There's a fastball, and he's way off the mark with it, low and away. Broke out. 3-2 pitch. Swung on a high bouncing ball over the mound back at second base. DeJesus on the run has it. Throws. He's got him. Beautiful play. Bouncing ball back at second base, and Ivan DeJesus coming over there like greased lightning, making that throw in the run, and he wound up Lou out in short right field.
I don't know how that youngster's going to get any better, but he's going to get better, I'll tell you, because he's going to play the hitters a little better insofar as the count and situations. But he's just had a great year, Vince, and he's improving every game with that glove. I'll tell you, he can move.
Awfully quick. Here is Mike Vail, right-hander, checks his swing on a good fastball for a strike. Vail hitting .310, 1 for 3 last night. That's 4 homers, 24 runs batted in. Burris' next pitch, in too close, took a little off of it. Ball 1, strike 1. Vail strikes out an awful lot. He's averaged a strikeout about every, between 4 and 5 official trips to the plate. There's a swing and a miss. He got just a piece of it. I have to correct myself. Fouled it back. Greg Luzinski on a home run spree. He has just hit his second of the night for the Philadelphia Phillies. This one, a 3-run shot. His second one of the ball game. His first one tonight came with a man on. So those 2 homers, the Bull has already accounted for 5 runs for the Phillies against the Cardinals. There's a swing and a miss. He got him. We mentioned Vail has tendency to strike out a lot, and Burris has just fanned him. That's Ray's first strikeout victim of the night. And the first 6 New York Mets have gone down in order. Let's hope he can keep it up out there. Luzinski now with his 17th and 18th homers of the year tonight. Well, the Cubs have batted around, and they lead the New York Mets at the end of 2 innings of play, 2-0.
Have you ever heard a pinging sound when you've accelerated on expressways or carried a heavy load? That's called knocking, and it's caused by uneven combustion. When you hear a noise like this, it's a sign your car may need higher octane to run the way it should. Now Standard introduces new Amoco Premium Lead-Free, the higher octane lead-free gasoline with higher octane than typical unleaded gasoline. Higher octane than regular leaded gasolines, too. Try a tankful. It could make a difference. If you don't have the problem of engine knock, use lead-free Amoco, the Midwest's best-selling lead-free. Since the lead-free age began, Standard has been the lead-free leader. And now Standard offers you 2 lead-free gasolines. New Amoco Premium Lead-Free in the Gold Pump and famous lead-free Amoco in the Blue Pump. You'll find this choice of lead-free gasolines at your independent Standard oil dealer because you expect more from a leader.
All right, we're going into the 3rd inning. Here's Lou.
Thank you, Vince. First pitch is a strike call to DeJesus, the second time around for the Cubs. Cubs lead 2-0 on Ontiveros' two-run home run in the second inning. Since that time, that Kuzma has just reared back and fired that ball. There's another fastball and a swing and a miss by DeJesus. Kuzma has struck out 4 men in 2 innings. The pitch. Swinging a long foul ball down the right field line. In the top of the third inning. Second of a 3-game series here at Shea Stadium. The windup and pitch. Curveball and a swing and a miss. DeJesus strikes out. He has struck out 4 in a row. Now let's see what he does with Cardinal, who walked in the first inning. Jose steps out of the batter's box for just a minute. Now he levels that bat over the plate. Here's Kuzman's first pitch. Inside, ball 1. This Saturday, it's going to be old-timers game here in New York. Mays, Ford, DiMaggio, Snyder, Mantle, Padres, Swoboda. Remember Ron Swoboda? Gentry, Charles, Larson, White, Wirtz, Mazeroski, Erskine.
Says
Slaughter. It says that. I had agreed, but due to the change of time of our game in Saturday, I won't be hustling back and forth. I'll remain right in Philadelphia. Swinging a ground ball to shortstop. Valentine has it. Throws to the first. Cardinal is out. 2 out. Now here's Bittner, who singled into right field first time at bat. Cardinal stopped at second. And then with a count of 2-2 on Mercer, Cardinal took off towards third. Mercer took a called third strike. And Stern's throw to Randall nipped Jose for a double play. Now Bittner is ready. Here's the first pitch to him. Fastball inside, ball 1. Cubs with 2 runs on 2 hits. Mets, no runs, no hits. Fastball high, ball 2. Cubs will close out this 3-game series tomorrow afternoon. There's a pitch high, ball 3. And then on to Philadelphia for a twilight night or Friday. Afternoon games Saturday and Sunday. And then the All-Star break before the Cubs take on, I believe it is Atlanta, back at home in Chicago. There's a strike call. Let me check my schedule here. It is Atlanta, Thursday, July 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd, and then a big doubleheader on Sunday with Houston, the 24th. It's now 3-2 as Kuzma has come back from a ball 3 no strike count to a 3-2 count. 2 outs, nobody on base. Cubs lead 2-0. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swinging a tap foul right at the plate. Wendelstadt, the plate umpire. We're in the third inning. Kuzman taking a little time now as he adjusts the dirt in front of the pitching rubber. Gets his sign. He goes into that quick windup, and here's the 3-2 pitch. Fastball and a swing and a ground ball to shortstop. Takes a high hop, but Valentine follows that hop. Throws the first for the out. In the third inning, no runs, no hits, nobody left on base for the Cubs. Mets coming to bat, bottom of the third inning. It's Cubs 2, Mets nothing.
When you brew a beer in God's country, you begin with sparkling, pure Wisconsin spring water. Water that flows deep beneath the ground. Then you pure brew, double brew it in a traditional old world way called krausening. Krausening is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Most expensive because it takes more time. But Heileman's Old Style is one American premium beer that is still fully poisoned, naturally carbonated. Because at Old Style, we don't aim to make the most beer, only the best. Taste the difference poisoning makes. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country. G. Heileman Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
In the bottom of the third inning, the Mets will send Mazzelli, Flynn, and then the pitcher, Kuzman. Ray Burris with a 2-0 lead. All he needs now is a shutout. We don't want to give him even one run. First pitch. Mazzelli bunts. The ball is caught in foul territory right at the plate. Strike one. Mazzelli, young center fielder who's been under the wings of Willie Mays in the last few weeks. And Mays has Mazzelli playing very shallow in center field, defensively. He thinks with this youngster's speed and ability to react quickly on balls hit in his area that he can make just as good catches playing in than he can playing deep. Willie tells them that more baseballs are hit in front of outfielders than beyond them. Here's another fake bunt, takes a strike. The count now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Burris has retired 6 straight Mets. Mazzelli levels the bat over the plate. The pitch on its way. Curveball, swinging a fly ball to left field. Jose is right there, moves in. He has it, 1 out. Now here's Flynn. Flynn is batting .211 with no home runs and 6 RBIs. Flynn bats right-handed. Cubs playing their 85th game tonight. Over halfway in the 77 season. Cubs are still 20 games above 500. 1 ball pitch. Fastball low, ball 2. Flynn checks down with his coach. Gets his sign. Now he's ready. The pitch. It's low, ball 3. Kuzman due up next. 3-0 on Doug Flynn. The pitch from Burris. Strike called. It's 3-1. He was taking a 3-0 pitch, but I doubt whether he'll be taking this one, with the pitcher coming up next. Burris has a sign from Middlewall. The pitch on its way. Good fastball tapped over the pitcher's head. DeJesus has it. Fires to Bittner for the out. 2 out. The 9th man to face Burris here will be Kuzman. Cubs lead 2-0. Kuzman has 7 hits in 45 times at bat. Here's a swing and a tap over the pitcher's head. DeJesus has it in front of second. Throws the first in time. So, Burris has gone through the Met lineup for the first time, retiring each man. 1, 2, 3 for the Mets in the first 3 innings. At the end of 3 innings of play, it's the Chicago Cubs 2, New York Mets nothing.
Vance, True Value Hardware stores are offering a 3/8-inch power drill that's really going places. It's the Skill 3/8-inch power drill, and it'll go any place you want it to because it's cordless. You just charge it up on ordinary house current, use it indoors, outdoors, on land, sea, or air. Anywhere you want to drill a hole or drive and remove screws. The Skill 3/8-inch reversible cordless drill. It's the power tool that's really going places, but you can find it for just $29.99 at participating True Value hardware stores. And while you're there, take a look at the most popular saw in the Skill saw line, the 7 1/4-inch circular saw. It's just $34.99, and it's a tool that no do-it-yourselfer should be without. You can find the dependable Skill power tools at participating True Value hardware stores.
In the fourth inning, it'll be Mercer, Morales, and Taveras against Kuzman. Cubs holding on to a 2-0 lead. Mercer was called out on the third strike in the first inning, and I think he might have been upset by Jose Cardinal, who was attempting a steal of third with a left-handed hitter at bat, because Mercer took the pitch and Stern had no opposition at all as he threw to Randall to nail Cardinal. Bobby steps in the batter's box. Mazzelli shallow in center. Here's Kuzman's first pitch. Sidearm fastball swing, and there's one down on the line. If it's fair, it is foul ball into the corner. Mercer getting out in front of one of Kuzman's fastballs, and it went right into the corner. Strike one. Kuzman with a new baseball. Boyd Clare guarding that line at first base. High, 1-1 the count. Kuzman working quickly. The pitch on its way. Inside fastball, ball 2, strike 1. Mercer leading off for the Cubs. Fourth inning, Cubs lead 2-0. There's a fastball for a strike. He dropped his arm and sidearmed Mercer. 2-2 the count. Morales due up next. Mercer levels that bat over the plate. Kuzman is ready. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. That one was over his head. 6 strikeouts for Kuzman. The pitch sailed on Kuzman, and it was high, and Mercer went after it. Here's Morales at bat. Walked in the second inning and scored ahead of Taveras on his home run. Slow curveball high. Randall in front of third base. Another slow curveball, that one for a strike. Henderson in left, Mazzelli in the center, Vail in right. Slow curveball inside, ball 2, strike 1. Kuzman looks around. Now gets a sign from Stern. Kuzman mops his brow. It's very hot and humid on that field. Here's the windup and pitch. Let up for a strike call. The count now 2-2. Here's a swing and a foul out of play. Two and two to count on Jerry Morales. Kuzman's ready. The pitch. Slow curveball for a strike call. Morales taking a called third strike, and that's the seventh strikeout for Kuzman. I think last night Matlack struck out 9, as did Russell. Matlack had 7. Russell had 9 last night. Now here's Oliveris. He had a 2-run home run in the second inning. Pass ball high, outside, ball 1. Cubs 2. New York nothing. In the 4th inning, 2 outs, nobody on base for the Cubs. The pitch. Lit up. Pop foul out of play. Oliveris back of the batter's box. Now he steps in the batter's box. And here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball high, ball 2, strike 1. Lazinski 5, St. Louis nothing at the end of 4.5. At the end of 5, Gregg has hit 2 home runs. One with 1 man on, one with 2 men on. There's a let up low, and it's ball 3, strike 1 down to Barrett. Oliveris will be ready for this one. It's on its way. He takes high, ball 4. That's the 3rd walk issued by Kuzman. And he was being very careful on that 3-1 pitch to Ontiveros. Now here's Manny Trio. Struck out in the second inning. Espinoso will go for the Mets tomorrow against Steve Renko. Ontiveros with a short lead at first. Here's the pitch to Trio. Swing and a miss on a high fastball, strike 1. Ontiveros is not fast. Good base runner, but he does not have speed. Strike 1 pitch. Swing and a ground ball through the middle into center field, base hit. Ontiveros will stop at second base. So Mitterwald now with a chance to add to the Cubs' 2-0 lead. He will bat with runners on first and second, 2 outs. That was the 3rd hit off Kuzman. He struck out Mercer and Morales to open up the inning, the 4th. Then walked on to Veras, and Trio is just singled to center field. Millwall levels the bat over the plate. Kuzman checks the base runners. Now here's the first pitch to George Mitterwald. High, fastball, ball 1. Ontiveros with a short lead at second. Trio with a good lead at first base. Mitterwald swings at that curveball and taps it foul. One and one to count on George. Two outs. Cub runners on first and second. And the pitch by Kuzman's on its way. Fastball popped up over the Mets dugout. It's out of play. Mitterwald will get another chance. Burris is due up next. Cubs out in front, 2-0. Cubs need a victory here tonight. Kuzman taking a little more time now between pitches. Looking right at the ground. Now he's looking in to get his side. Gets it from Stearns, his catcher. The pitch to Mitterwald. High fastball. It's 2-2. Whoa.
That is nice and cool, the breeze.
And I haven't had anything to drink.
I didn't hear
That's
you.
unusual.
That was an unusual statement.
Yes, it is. Jenny. I have the count of 2-2. The board has the count of 1-2. Here's the pitch on its way. High outside. The count is 3-2 on Mitterwald. Burris is due up next. 3-2 on the hitter. Now, this is very important because with 2 outs, I hope the Cub runners know that the count is 3-2. Peanuts has just hollered to Ontiveros and gave him the sign to move as soon as the pitch is made. There they go. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Littlewall strikes out. So, in the second inning, after the home run by Ontiveros, Koosman struck out the side. He did the same thing here in the fourth. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left on base for the Cubs. At the end of 3.5 innings of play, Cubs 2, New York Mets nothing.
Nobody wants to think about sickness and the cost of hospitalization. Unfortunately, these things happen, and nobody wants to be caught short when medical bills arrive. That's why Friendly Bob Adams of General Finance Corporation already has a medical loan plan to use toward your doctor fees, hospital bills, and medication costs. Just phone Friendly Bob at Andover 32020 and explain the situation. There's no friendlier way to borrow and no more professional place to borrow from. Whether you're a man or a woman, your signature is probably all it takes to get a loan at General Finance. So call Friendly Bob Adams of General Finance at Andover 32020 to borrow up to $10,000. And if you have an existing balance at General Finance, feel free to extend it. Once a General Finance customer, always a good friend. Call Friendly Bob Adams at Andover 32020. There are over 65 offices in the Chicagoland area.
General Finance also has an office in Bolingbrook with an awful lot of Cub fans. Why don't you stop in there?
All right, let's keep Burris on the ball here. He has retired the first 9 Mets that he's faced. He has a 2-0 lead. But now here's the second time around for the Mets, as it will be Randall, Valentine, and Henderson. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
Coming up 8 o'clock, this is WGN Radio, Chicago.
Randall will lead off. Randall was thrown out by DeJesus in the first inning. Stockily built left-handed hitter. Burris is ready. First pitch on its way. Curveball that's high outside, ball one. One ball pitch to Randall. He swings and fouls it off down the left field line. 1-1 to count. Cubs 2, Mets nothing. Phillies lead St. Louis 5-0 at the end of 5. Curveball, it makes a bunt and misses it at strike 2. Ontiveros now moves back a few feet of third base. The pitch. Fastball, swing and a pop-up in the short left field. Cardinale is there, under it, squeezes it. Two-handed catch by Cardinale, 1 out. Now here's Valentine, who flies deep to Mercer in right field. Pittsburgh and Montreal all tied up 1-1 at the end of 5. White Sox 5, Toronto 3 at the end of 7. First game of a doubleheader in Chicago. Here's a swing and a miss by Valentine. The pitch from Burris. Curveball outside and Valentine chased it. Strike 2. Cubs lead Philadelphia by 4 games. White Sox lead Kansas City by 4 games. 0-2 on Valentine. Burris has his sign. The pitch on its way. Low outside, fastball. He wouldn't chase it, and ball 1. Strike 2. Henderson, the hero of last night's victory, waiting in the on-deck circle to bat next. Here's the pitch. There's that curveball outside, and Valentine chases it. He strikes out. second strikeout for Burris. And now here's Henderson. Henderson grounded out to Trio in the first inning. 2 out, fourth inning, Cubs lead 2-0. Henderson, a right-handed hitter. First pitch by Burris is a fastball outside, low, ball 1. One ball pitch. Outside, ball 2. This Henderson has a lot of power. A good right-handed hitter. And he can run. Ball 2, no strike, 2 outs, nobody on base. Let's see what Burris does with this pitch. Here it is. Fastball and a swing and a foul out of play. Burris had a little extra on that because he knew Henderson was given a green light. 2-0 Cubs. Fourth inning. Cubs play Henderson straight away and deep in all positions. Curveball tapped down the third base line. Burris grabbed it. He should have let it roll. That has to be a base hit. And it's the first hit of the game for the Mets. It was a tap down the third base line. The only chance Burris had was to let it roll because with a count of 1 and 2 on the hitter on Tavares was deep. Here's Boyd Clare at bat. Bittner holding the runner on at first base. Burris into the stretch. Here's the first pitch. Swing and a miss on a curveball. Boyd Clare tried to tie it up with one swing of the bat, but he missed. Henderson with a lead. At first, Burris goes into the stretch. Strike 1 pitch. Curveball low inside, taken by Boyd Clare. 1-1 to count. Cubs with 2 runs. 3 hits. Mets, no runs, 1 hit. The 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. Fastball, a swing, a line drive into right center. Morales is there, gloved and one-handed. Morales moving quickly to his left to glove that ball, and that's the best ball hit of Burris tonight thus far. In the fourth inning, no runs, 1 hit. 1 man left on base. At the end of 4, Cubs 2, Mets nothing.
Think you could eat 40 bananas in 39 minutes? Anthony Fig did it. He set that record in 1967. Says so right here in the Guinness Book of World Records. How could anyone eat so much so fast? This is Mike Pyle saying we'll probably never know the answer to that, but there are some records that are easily explained. For instance, the current record for selling new Oldsmobiles. It's held by Weil Olds in Libertyville. Weil sells more new Oldsmobiles than any other dealer in the world. Why? Why do people come from Chicago, from all over the state, even from neighboring states, to buy their new Oldsmobiles from Weil? You won't find the answer in the record book, but you will find it in Libertyville, Illinois, home of the world's largest Oldsmobile dealer, Weil Olds. Plan to drive out real soon. You'll probably get out to Libertyville faster than it takes Anthony Fig to eat 40 bananas.
All right, we're getting ready now to go to the 5th inning here at Shea Stadium on another one of those steamy nights. Cubs are number 1. That's a banner that's held up here by some enthusiastic young Cub fans sitting over on the third base side. And we want to wish a happy birthday to a good Cub fan out in Huntington, Indiana. Takes his vacation every spring to watch the Cubs go at it out in Arizona. Roger Scheidler. Roger refuses to admit to how many it is. Burris steps in, a swing and a miss on a fastball. At Davenport, Iowa, Shorty Fowler, Cubs fan, 57 today. Sorry about that, Shorty. 5-7, that is. There's the ball. Low and inside. Ball one, strike one on Ray. Koosman delivers a fastball just off the mark at the knees, away. Philadelphia looks like they're going to have a winner tonight. They're out in front 5-0 over the Cardinals at the end of 6 innings of play, and Greg Luzinski with 2 homers. One on, one with 2 on. Fastball, strike call. Ball 2, strike 2. A walk to Jerry Morales to lead off the second inning was followed by Steve Olivares' 6th home run of the year. That's the scoring story so far. The Cubs with 3 hits. Mets with 1. Where swings and misses on a fastball right up in his eye. Well, he got 3 strikeouts in the 4th inning. He now has 9 for the night, giving him 111 for the year.
The shortstop.
Great fastball, and he's had a good curve. Changed his speed beautifully tonight. Ivan De Jesus went down swinging on a curveball in the 3rd. He opened up the ball game with a hard one-hopper and a fine play made by the shortstop Bobby Valentine to retire him. Matty Randall, the 3rd baseman, coming up close in the grass. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Fastball foul. Back out of play. Atlanta leads Cincinnati 1-0 at the end of 4 tonight in Cincy. The Dodgers in Houston, no score yet. They're in the 3rd inning at the Astrodome. There's a swing and a miss. And again, he went after a high fastball. 0-2. Pittsburgh and Montreal are tied. 1-1 up in Montreal at the end of 6 innings of play. The Candyman, John Candelaria, going for the Pirates. He's 8-3 for the year against Steve Rogers. Rogers 9-7 for the Expos. Now we're ready. Here's the pitch. Very high, ball 1. 1-2 count. Eddie Vaughn steps out of the batter's box for a moment. Now the wind-up, the pitch. Swung out. He got a piece of the fastball up in his eyes and fouled it back. It's still ball 1, strike 2 with nobody out. Cubs 2, the New York Mets nothing. Top of the 5th inning. Vince Lloyd here with you at Chase Stadium. Jack Minovich, our producer. And a hot, steamy night. Just a bit of a breeze blowing out. But here in the press box, you can't feel it. You're surrounded by concrete and steel. 1-2 pitch. Quick strike. 3 over the outside corner. He thought it was going to be outside. But it tailed in on him. Nipped the corner. 10 strikeouts. Twice before this year, Koosman has fanned 10 men in a game. And he already has it tonight. Here's Cardinal. Walked and grounded out. Hot, steamy night here in Long Island. Left-hander in the windup. Cardinal takes. That one just missed outside. Ball 1. We'll be here tomorrow afternoon. Our broadcast starting at 12:45 in Chicago, 1 o'clock in the network, and then a twilight doubleheader at Philadelphia on Friday. 1-0 pitch. Change up outside. Ball 2. Oscar Gamble has walloped a pair of homers tonight for the White Sox, giving him 18 for the year. In their first game, they're out in front of Toronto. Here's a swing and a liner off the glove of Bobby Valentine. Trickles onto the outfield grass, and Cardinal is going to be on at first base. That will be a base hit for Jose. The Cubs' 4th hit of the night. Boy, it'd be nice to get Burris a few more runs. Ray Burris singled into right field after Cardinal walked in the first inning. Then he grounded out to the shortstop to retire the side in the 3rd. The White Sox out in front 6-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning of their first game. Mark Johnson in relief. A Matzik started, and the Sox hit him for 4 in the first inning and knocked him out. A stretch by Koosman to kick the pitch. Bittner takes. Fastball is high. Ball 1. Red Sox 5. Cleveland 3. Bottom of the 5th inning at Cleveland. Koosman has his sign. Here's the delivery. Bittner takes. There's a strike. He took a lot off of that pitch, and it came in over the inside corner. Ball one, strike one on Larry. Detroit, Kansas City, no score at the end of one. Texas batting in the bottom of the second, no score in their game with Baltimore. Cardinal short lead and a throw to first base just to drive him back. Right fielder Mike Vail is fairly shallow. Mazzilli always plays a shallow center field. And he's playing Bittner's swing just a little bit late. 1-1 delivery. Fastball in too tight at the letters. Ball two, strike one. Cubs with a 2-0 lead on Steve Olivares' sixth home run of the year, following the walk. But Koosman has been a tremendous pitcher here tonight, but Burris has allowed only one hit, scratch infield single. 2-1 pitch. Checks his swing, and it misses low. Breaking ball. Ball three, strike one. Now let's see if they might want to try the run and hit. And Jose Cardinal checking signs carefully with Coach Bloomfield at first base. Let's see if he might be going. Step to get a lead on Koosman. He goes. Here's a ball outside. They had the run and hit on, but it's ball four. Runners at first and second. Fourth walk of the night issued by Koosman. Now Bobby Mercer. He was upset when Cardinal, with a 2-2 count on Bobby in the first inning, broke from second to third. And he looked at the pitch for strike three. Cardinal was thrown out at third to retire the side. And then he went after a high fastball and fanned in the fourth inning. Runners at first and second with two gone. The base hit here could increase the Cubs' lead. Koosman is looking over at Bittner. The first baseman, Beauclair, is very, very deep. With Mercer at bat, here's the delivery. Takes the strike. Breaking ball over the inside corner had him bailing out. Steve Renko gets a starting assignment here tomorrow afternoon. Here's the delivery. Mercer takes. Breaking ball, it's a little bit low. Ball one, strike one. Matilli is still not beat for Mercer, but he's playing him to pull. Steve Henderson gives him the left field line. Dale fairly deep and right. Here's the delivery. Curveball, too high. Ball two, strike one. Beauclair only about 3 feet inside the line, very deep at first. Doug Flynn, the second baseman, is on the edge of the outfield grass. And Valentine, the shortstop, is only a few feet on the shortstop side of second. Left side of that infield is open for Bobby, but he rarely goes that way. 2 out, 2 on, a 2-1 delivery coming up to the Cub right fielder. Here it is. He swings and hits a high fly ball into right center field. It should be caught. Moving under it is Mazzilli. He's got it, makes the basket catch to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, a walk, and 2 men left in the bases. At the end of 4 1/2, Ray Burris has allowed only 1 hit. Going out to the mound, the Cubs still lead 2-0.
Ready, people?
Ready.
Is everybody hungry?
Yes.
Where do you want to eat?
Golden Bear.
Why?
Because for hot summer days, they got the best selection.
Really? Do they have salads?
Sure.
Like a delicious shrimp salad?
Yeah. And they have the Mama Golden Bear salad, too.
The one with ham, cheese, tomato, and egg wedges on fresh lettuce with your choice of dressing?
Right.
I like salads in the summer.
So do we. Does Golden Bear have ice cream? We like ice cream.
Golden Bear has the fabulous Goldilocks Fairyland Fountain with super sundaes and sodas. And you should try the Goldilocks Dream Banana Split.
We will. Goodbye.
Hey, where are you all going?
Golden Bear, it's on your grill, where food is fun. Golden Bear.
Well, steam baths here at Shea Stadium tonight, especially in the press box area. But it's a delightful evening for all Cubs fans here because 2-0 favor the Cubs. Burris, who had been hit hard in his last 3 outings, had not had a victory since the miraculous comeback win by the Cubs in the 9th inning against this ball club back at Wrigley Field, June 25th, has been superb so far tonight. Johnny Stern, stepping in for the second time in the ball game, is retired on a ground ball back at second base in which Ivan De Jesus made a super play. He'll be followed by Mike Vail and then Lee Mazzilli. Sox carrying a 6-3 lead over Toronto in their first game. They're in the ninth inning at Sox Park. First pitch, he picks him out, and that's a strike, and he can't believe the call. Hot Philadelphia ball club. Still leading. Now it is 5-2 at Philadelphia in the bottom of the seventh of their game with St. Louis. Half swing and a tap out to the mound. It's going to be an easy play. He's out from here back to Manhattan. Tricked his swing and tapped it weakly out to Burris. That brings up Mike Vail. Struck out to retire the side in the second inning. Howdy, Blake. Blake Cullen dropping by. Well, a little conversation. Here's a fastball fouled back out of play. How do you like Mr. Burris tonight, huh?
Vince, he always looks great to me. I've said that so many times. I think Ray Burris is just terrific. I don't know how anybody ever gets any hits off him.
Well, I tell you, he's an altogether different Ray Burris tonight, Blake, than he has been in his last three outings. There's a swing and a deep drive into right center field. Mercer back to the wall. It's gone. Holy mackerel. He does kiss one over the wall to the left of the 371-foot mark, and it's now 2-1 Cubs. That's how they get the hits, I guess, Blake.
Well, I guess. That's too bad. He was pitching so great. He just came in with a pitch. Made a bad pitch.
Well, that one was up around the letters.
Yep.
Supposed to be a breaking ball, but it didn't start to break.
Yeah, looks like a classic hanging slider.
Yeah.
But Bale's a good hitter. You got to give him a little credit. He's a strong hitter.
They got some young kids in this next ball club that should be around for quite a while.
Oh, yes. A little trouble defensively, but he can real strong right-handed hitter.
Well, their first hit was a scratch infield single on a check swing. This one went sailing over the fence in front of the scoreboard in right field. That's Illy stepping in. The first pitch to him a ball. Was a swing and a hammers the ground ball. The Bittner's right. He's got it. Throws to Burris. Leads him perfectly for the out.
Nice play.
Yeah, they make it look easy, don't they?
Well, they're playing just so. I can't tell you how happy I am to not only to see you guys, but to see the ball club doing so well. Boy, it just does my heart good.
Well, believe you me, this has been just a super first half. We're so delighted to hear today that Jerry Morales has been named to the National League All-Star team, along with Manny Trio, Bruce Sutter, and Rick Russell. Stepping in, Dutch Flynn, right-hander takes the strike.
Where'd you hear that? That's going to be announced for a couple days.
Is that right?
Sutter and Russell were announced tonight.
Yeah?
The rest of the squad is announced Friday.
Sorry about that, fans. Well, next you hear it or read it, it'll be official. There's a swing one hopper right into the glove of Gray. That's going to retire the side. So they get a homer off the bat of Mike Vail, his fifth of the year, to spoil his bid for a shutout, and to make it now a very tight ball game, the only hit of the inning. And at the end of 5, here at Shea Stadium, it's the Cubs 2, the New York Mets 1.
The recent fire at Skokie Lumber made big news. Contrary to publicity, Skokie Lumber was not burned down. Only one storage shed was destroyed. Skokie Lumber showroom plus 2 storage buildings were unaffected. All merchandise lost has been replaced. So despite the fire, it's business as usual at Skokie Lumber. Carloads of new lumber have arrived. Visit your one-stop lumber, hardware, and home center, Skokie Lumber, 4810 Oakton.
You can count on us for saving. You can count on us for quality. At Eagle Stores, you see, we're everything a supermarket should be. We're the value store, and you can count on Eagle. Our customers know it's true. We're everything a supermarket should be, doing everything a store should do.
2-1 score. And home runs have accounted for all the runs here tonight. Boy, it's great to look down here at Shea Stadium and see those Cubs pennants and banners signed. Here's Jerry Morales, who walked in front of that homer by Olivares in the second inning, then looked at strike 3 in the fourth. Kuzman's first pitch, Morales takes the fastball high. It had been erroneously reported that Kenny Praling was given his outright release by the Cubs, a left-handed pitcher, to let up its low, ball 2. But Kenny was not given his outright release. He was on the Wichita Farm Club roster, but there's a swing as he throws his bat at the pitch away from him and fouls it out of play. But what happened was that Praling was officially outrighted to the Cubs Farm Club at Wichita. So he's still virtually the Cubs property. Morales goes after that pitch, and he hits a high foul out of play, way down the right field side. Ball 2, strike 2 on Jerry. Carries a .334 batting average into this action tonight. Not too bad, is it? Swing and a miss. Fastball up in his eyes. Strikeout number 11 by Koosman tonight. Terry, of course, like most hitters, likes that pitch up, and that one, a rising fastball, just kept right on climbing. Here's Steve Ontiveros. Hit his 6th homer of the year in the 2nd inning, then walked in the 4th. All right, Blake, there's one of the message boards that I'm sure you got the answer to. Here's the pitch. Fastball high. Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, was elected to the Hall of Fame this year. Became only the 8th player ever to be chosen in the first ballot. How many of the other 7 can you name?
Oh, boy.
Here's the pitch. Fastball high.
Sandy Koufax?
Yeah. One of them's in Shea Stadium tonight, I'm sure. Willie Mays.
He's not in yet.
Here's a swing and a tap to the second baseman charging in, and Doug Flint has it to pick him up. By golly, he's not made it officially yet,
He played in 73, so he's got another year to go.
All right. You got 1 out of 7. That's not too bad.
Jackie Robinson?
Yeah.
That's a tough question. I would say Ted
How about
Williams.
Whitey Ford?
Yeah.
Mickey Mantle?
I'll buy that. Those American League guys, Vinny, I'm not up on them.
Ted Williams?
I think Williams.
Yeah. Somebody did not vote for Williams, remember? Controversy that created.
Pretty fair player.
Manny Trio in there. He takes a little high. Ball 1. I'll bet you a lot of our fans can come up with the answers to that in a hurry. Here's the delivery. Little high. Ball 2 on Manny. Besides Ernie Banks, the 7 other members of the Hall of Fame were voted into the Hall of Fame in their first year of eligibility. Too hot tonight to try to puzzle it out while we're on the air, I guess. But I know the wheels are turning over there, Blake.
Why don't you give away a couple of tickets to the next Cubs Sunday game? Everybody can call in the answer.
Ticket office will be delighted, of course. That ball is too high. Ball 3. Manny Trio. By the way, talking about Banks, here's the delivery. Takes it 3-1. To spend an afternoon enjoying Major League Baseball at Wrigley Field, call EB Ernie Banks 71919 and ask about the Ernie Banks special group package. There's a swing and a fastball. He fouls it right over our head.
You know, we get to go up to the Hall of Fame game in August 8th in Cooperstown.
Yeah.
And Ernie said he wants to play a little shortstop that day. I said, that's great with me.
You going to play too?
No, I'll watch Ernie. I'll be there, though, thank goodness.
I'm having a heck of a time arranging it because we got a doubleheader at home, and then we're in Pittsburgh the night of that banquet.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how we're going to
in
work it.
Cooperstown, we had a doubleheader at home, and it's tough getting up there.
Sure is. 3-2 pitch. Swung out at a high fly ball, sending the right fielder Vail back a few steps, and he's under it. Makes the catch. Top of the 6th, Cubs go down in order. I wish they would not schedule any baseball games in the majors on the day of the Hall of Fame induction, so that all the attention in baseball would be focused on the Hall of Fame that day.
That's great. I thoroughly agree with you. The problem now, of course, is it's a Monday, and there's a national television contract on a Monday night.
Yeah.
You're right. It's a great thing.
Sure is. We're going to be back in just a moment with the score: the Cubs 2, the Mets 1.
Fans, when you think about it, signs are important to the ebb and flow of any baseball game. There's a sign for hit and run, sign to steal, bunt, and a whole lot more to remember. Now, when it comes to the ebb and flow of beer drinking, there's only one sign that you have to remember, and that's the sign on bottles or cans of Heileman's Old Style. Now, what gives this beer its great light flavor? Well, Old Style is brewed in God's country, where the skies are clear, the air is clean and crisp, and the sparkling, pure Wisconsin spring water flows from deep beneath the ground. You know, some folks say, all the way from Canada. Now, with water like this, when you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. When you brew a beer twice, then you've got a great light beer. This double brewing, pure brewing process is called kreuzening. It's the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. So try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country.
Before Jerry Koosman steps in, and he's going to get a tremendous hand, let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio in Chicago, 81 degrees, in 10 seconds, 29 minutes past 8.
Ray Burris, wind up, the first pitch of the ball, in too close. Koosman, a right-handed hitter, grounded out in the third inning to retire the side. Burris put down. The Mets in order in the first three innings. Here's a swing and a bouncing ball to Manny Trio. He's got it. Koosman is just jogging down the line. And he's out by several steps. Well, there they are. Those guys who got in the first ballot, Ted Williams, Sandy Koufax, Mickey Mantle, Stan Musial, Warren Spahn, Bob Feller, and Jackie Robinson.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by momentarily. We have temporarily lost our sound from our baseball game tonight. It is now 8:30 in Chicago, and we'll play some music if we don't get the sound back. Is that correct? You want some music? Okay. We'll play some music, and we'll keep you informed as to what's happening in our baseball game. Please stand by.
Completely here at this ballpark, just when we were talking to you. Now, I guess some of the emergency power that they've had has brought on some of the lights near the exits in the ballpark, and that is all. Everything else here is blacked out completely. And I don't ever recall at any baseball game that this has happened, although there may have been an instance of it a few years ago in one of the ballparks where they had a power shortage. But all of a sudden, everything went black completely here at Shea Stadium. Right now, you are able to listen to me because I am on the telephone with you in our special hookup that we have always had on our broadcast for the last several years. It's a very costly thing and a very expensive one, but just in case we ever have a power failure, either on our regular telephone lines, our broadcast lines, we do have what we call a coupler on an extra telephone that we have installed in all of our broadcast installations throughout the major leagues. And that is why you are able to hear me right now. I'm speaking to you on a hand telephone, just as you would be using to make your ordinary phone calls. In this case, this one has a little special button on it that I press so that you can hear me. But it is certainly not a broadcast quality, as you are well aware. But you're not missing any part of the action in the game because nothing, of course, can happen. That's one of the great advantages of playing day baseball 100% of the time, as the Cubs do at Wrigley Field. The only thing you have to worry about there is whether or not rain is going to interrupt the ball game, or whether in extra innings or in doubleheader action, it may go on so late that nightfall is going to arrive, and that would be the only thing that would necessitate suspending or halting the action in the game. But here at Shea Stadium tonight, just like that, as though somebody had pulled the big switch. All the lights went out. And a few moments ago, they made the announcement here, the obvious one, that there is an apparent brownout. Well, it's not a brownout. It is more of a blackout. But they do have some emergency power equipment that has just been able to light very dimly some light bulbs that they have here around the exit ramps on this multi-tiered stadium that is open to the outfield. So as we look out across the outfield, we see the cars moving out on the expressways over near LaGuardia Field, which is just a few moments away from here.
Actually, from time to time in our broadcast here, it seems to us that we are almost wiped out completely by the noise of those jets roaring overhead. Tonight we have not been cursed by as many takeoffs from LaGuardia as we normally have here, and we've been grateful for that. But we can look over there and see LaGuardia Field up in the distance, and we can see a lot of the cars on the expressways. And I have a hunch that if there are any planes flying up over our head, and I don't have complete vision above me because of the upper deck that extends out over our broadcasting area, they're probably looking down, and the pilot's saying, now, in a moment, you'll be able to see Shea Stadium where the Mets are playing, and he's probably up there still searching for Shea and wondering if he got off course. That's the kind of thing that can happen. But the lights have been out here now for several minutes, interrupting the play in this ball game. And assuming that they were not able to find the problem with the loss in power here at Shea Stadium, this then would be a suspended ball game, and very likely they would renew play tomorrow. Now, we don't, prior to the start of the regularly scheduled game, but we don't expect anything like that to happen. While this is a highly unusual situation, and I don't recall, Blake, that this has ever happened in the major leagues before, that there has been a complete power failure at a ballpark for any period of time, we'll say more than just a few seconds. Blake Cullen is sitting here alongside of me. Those of you who are with us on our broadcast knew we were chatting with him. Blake used to be with the Chicago Cubs. He's now here in New York with the National League office as manager of public information and for the National League under President Chuck Feeney, and he was just as startled as I was, and all of the fans here, when all of a sudden everything went black. And I can't get Blake to talk with us, of course, because I'm just holding this telephone with a very short cord, and there's no way we can hear him. But you remember anything like this, Blake? You can either nod your head or shake it. If anything like this happening in the major leagues where they've had a complete power loss? You ever remember anything like this? Where did it happen?
The California Angels had something like
The Angels out of Anaheim, huh?
The White Sox?
Might have been that they were playing the White Sox. Yeah.
This year.
Yeah?
Did
They could not get the lights back on, and that game had to be suspended. That's what would happen here, of course, if they couldn't get the lights back on, and they would play it off tomorrow prior to our regularly scheduled game. Normally, in a situation like this, and particularly in a metropolitan area, just where obviously a big transformer has blown, they do have a way of rectifying it in a relatively short period of time. And you can be doggone sure, as I'm talking to you right now, that every expert technician associated with this fine operation at Shea Stadium has gone to work trying to find out what's happened. And the New York Power and Light Company has been aware of it almost from the moment that it happened. And they are trying to add their expertise to it to solve the riddle of what happened. And I know a few people once in a while heading, I think, for the concession stand, or else they're going to the ladies' room and the men's room. Chicago Cubs are on the air. And where were you when the lights went out? We were right here at Shea Stadium in New York. And that was, of course, the big night near Wednesday, July the 13th. And the Cubs were leading the New York Mets by a score of 2-1 with one out, nobody on. The New York Mets at bat in the top of inning number 6. And that's where play is going to be resumed here at Shea Stadium tonight. A few things have changed, and not for the better insofar as the Cubs are concerned. And that night of July 13th until here on this Friday, September the 16th. From a first game lead of 4 games, the Cubs have dropped to 4th, 15 and a half off the pace, and nearing mathematical elimination in the Eastern Division pennant race. When they were here in New York the last time, Cubs were 20 games over the 500 mark, and they're now a slender 5 over the 500 mark with 75 wins and 70 defeats so far for the year. That's the bad news. The good news is that the rain has stopped that had been falling here in New York throughout the day. Right now, the umpiring crew is coming out onto the field, and momentarily they'll be getting underway with the suspended game. And strangely enough, the 2 starting pitchers that night, back in July, Ray Burris for the Cubs, Gary Koosman for the Mets, are going to be opposing one another when play starts here very, very shortly. Being carried out the home plate right now by Penis Lowry with Joe Torre. the skipper of the Mets, and he was not the manager then. And now there's some mix-up because Peanuts being hollered at by Herman Franks, the manager of the Cubs, and he's going back into the dugout before he officially gives them that starting lineup. Torrey is making one change. At that time, he had Bobby Valentine, his shortstop. Valentine underwent surgery a couple of days ago, and he's out for the rest of the year. Burris starting tonight with an earned run average of 4.75 and a season record of 12 and 15. Hopefully, he can make it 13 and 15 very, very shortly. And stepping into the batter's box to lead off against him for the New York Mets, their leadoff man, Lenny Randle. Bill Burris winds, and here is the first pitch of the suspended game, and he takes the ball a little bit low, and we're finally underway. Almost 2 months and 25 minutes delayed. Here's the pitch, and Ray fires a strike to Lenny Randle, who that night was hitting .314 for the year for the Mets. And here on this night in September, little fellow who started the year with the Texas Rangers is hitting .300. Fakes the bunt and pulls back from a curve that misses inside, and the count on him goes to 2-1. Lenny, a switch hitter. In the coach's box, down at third, is Denny Summers. Nothing is... Matter of fact, Summers was coaching at first that night. Here's a swing by Randle. Ground ball to DeJesus right. He's up with the peg over to Bittner. In time to retire Randle. And now, according to what we understand, regardless of what happens for the rest of the night in the weather, this is an official ball game. Now, we are going to have a pinch hitter stepping into this spot where Bobby Valentine was batting. Johnny Milner, powerful left-handed hitter, stepping in with a dozen homers this year and 56 runs batted in. Milner hitting .250. So he is a pinch hitter. And Harrelson, we are told, is going to be at shortstop when Ray gets his third out to retire the side. The first pitch to Milner, left-hander takes a strike. Ray in the windup. Milner looks at a fastball that misses inside at the knees to him, and the count goes to ball one, strike one. Jose Cardinale in left, Tars Wallace in center, and Bobby Mercer in right. Right side of that infield with Bittner and Kelleher's deep, and DeJesus deep, and pulled well up the middle. Burris gets a strike call, rather, as he puts a let-up in here to Milner. And he caught the inside corner on him right above the knees. Ball one, strike two. Joe Pignatano coaching at first base. Denny Summers in the coach's box at third. Burris delivers. Breaking ball, and the right-hander misses low. Ball two, strike two. Talking with Burris yesterday up at Montreal before we were leaving for Olympic Stadium in the final game of that trip, questioned him about starting tonight's suspended game against Koosman, who was his mound opponent that night. He said, I don't think so. Delivers a fastball that swung on and fouled on the first baseline. He said, he said, I don't know. He says, you know, I pitched Tuesday night at St. Louis. I said, yeah, I know. And he said, I don't know. Might be trying to come back too soon. Well, when he got to the ballpark, Herman Franks was thinking along the same lines. He and Barney Schultz, they put it to him squarely, and he said, well, okay, I'll do it. And here he is with a count of 2-2, swung on, ground ball back at first. Bittner grabs it, comes up the line, and the New York Mets are retired. Ground ball unassisted off the bat of Milner. Well, so from the night of July 13th to Friday night, September 16th, that's all it took to get 2 outs here in the 6th inning. And the Cubs now, with a ball game that is official, come to bat at the end of 6 at Shea Stadium, leading the New York Mets by a score of 2-1.
Birds fly south for the winter and bears hibernate in caves. But annoying insects can spend their winters inside your home. Control household insects in the fall, in the winter, and all year round with dependable Ortho products from True Value Hardware stores, like Ortho Ant, Roach, and Insect Spray. It kills ants, ticks, spiders, roaches, and other insects fast and effectively, and the 15-ounce spray is just $1.98. True Value Hardware stores also offer Ortho Home Pest Control, the do-it-yourself pest control that contains professional chemicals. Ortho Home Pest Control kills roaches, ants, ticks, spiders, and carpet beetles. And the 1/2-gallon can with applicator nozzle is just $6.98. Get both these dependable Ortho products at participating True Value Hardware stores.
True Value Hardware.
Larry Koosman. That night back in July, won 6 and lost 10. And he starts here tonight in September with 2 more victories, giving him a total of 8 for the year, and 8 more defeats. His record has gone from 6 and 10 to 8 and 18. And his earned run average just a little bit higher than it was that night. Started at 3.14. It's now at 3.40. So not much has changed there. From 13 starts since a couple of months ago. They do have Harrelson at shortstop. No other changes defensively for him. And before Steve Swisher, nope, it's going to be Mick Kelleher hitting in the 8th spot. Before Kelleher steps into the batter's box to open up the 7th in this suspended game, let's take time out for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
And this is WGN Radio Chicago at 628.
Vince Lloyd here at Shea Stadium with you, and Jack Finovich, our producer. A couple of things we want to pass along to you here. Number one, the American Cancer Society celebrity softball game that was scheduled to be played at the Windy City Diamond softball diamond this evening has had to be postponed because of the rain that has hit the Chicago area during the day. It's the American Cancer Society celebrity softball game scheduled to be played tonight. They've had to call it off because of the wet ground. I want to get that in because that was slated to start in about 1 hour. In case you were headed out that way, I'd like to save you an unnecessary trip. Now Kelleher steps in, and Mick, who last night had a triple up in Montreal, drove in a run and scored a run, takes Koosman's first pitch, a fastball that's high. Cubs batting here in the 7th with a 2-1 lead in this suspended game. There's a strike call to the outside corner. Harry Dunlop coaching over at first base for the Cubs with Venus Lowry at third. Koosman in the windup. Lets up on that one. It's swung on. Pulls the base hit past the diving third baseman, Lenny Randall. And Mick Kelleher opens up the 7th inning with a base hit. That'll bring up Ray Burris. Just now getting that windbreaker off. You know, we conclude this road trip at Philadelphia on Thursday before getting back home to Chicago a week from today. That's going to be the last homestand of the season for the Cubs. Friday, September 23rd through the 28th. And part of that, of course, is going to be on Saturday, a week from tomorrow. And on that day, the first 15,000 fans to arrive at Wrigley Field with a fully paid ticket to the box or grandstand area will receive a free Ernie Banks souvenir montage commemorating Ernie's election to the Hall of Fame. That'll be next Saturday, week from tomorrow. The Cubs will be taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. We hope to see you there. Koosman had made one throw to first now. The left-hander comes to the plate. Burris pulls the bat back from a fastball that misses. Ray and the Cubs with a 2-1 lead in this suspended game, the Blackout back in July. And Koosman, by the way, is slated to start the regular scheduled game here tonight. Pretty good lead by Kelleher at first. Koosman's pitch. Burris bunts a high one on the first base side. Picked up by first baseman. Fires to second for the force out on Mick Kelleher. As Burris's bunt on the first base side was just a little bit hotter than he would like to have had it. The pitch was up around his letters, so he is on with the fielder's choice. Bruce Beauclair making the pickup without any problem at all. Now he looks into the dugout. Do you want me to hold the man on or what? And he said, yeah, they do. Ivan De Jesus, who on that night was 0 for 3, steps in here to finish off the suspended game. Koosman's pitch to him. He takes its high fastball. But rain problems at Cleveland again, where they have been hit hard by rain quite a while. Toronto was scheduled to play there. Toronto, of course, in the Baltimore with that big problem they had last night up at Toronto. Lee McPhail, the president of the American League, Koosman's made a throw to first. Burris was back. McPhail was to meet with Earl Weaver and officials of Baltimore tonight for further discussion on that forfeited game. Here's the pitch, and Ivan takes. Koosman finds a strike zone at the knees. Ball one, strike one on Ivan. Starts this night here in September, hitting .261 for the year. There's a swing or a bunt, and he taps it foul back out of play. So he has dropped 11 points from Wednesday, July the 13th, to this night in September. He's had one homer in that 2-month span and driven in just 7 runs. And Koosman has to take a little mud out of his spikes. Mets have done pretty well the last couple of months. Not great, but fairly well. The Cubs, of course, have found it to be a greased toboggan ride. 1-2 delivery. Curveball swung on a miss. Throw to first. Look out. Ray jumps back in time. LeClaire having to make a grab of a rather high throw by the catcher. Well, Ivan has fanned, and that officially gives Mr. Koosman 12 strikeouts in that ballgame. Through the first 6 innings, he had fanned 11 Cubs. Now Jose Cardinal stepping in. And officially in this game, he was 1 for 2. Grounded out, singled, and walked. He swings on the first pitch, taps the ground ball. Lenny Randall to his left, waits for it, throws to second, and he barely gets Ray Burris sliding in to retire the Cubs in the top of the 7th inning. No runs, 1 hit, lead-off single by Mick Kelleher, 1 man left. And the Mets come to bat at the bottom of the 7th of the suspended game from back in July, with the Cubs still leading 2-1.
If you wait till you save all the money you need to make all the home improvements you want, you could end up with a neglected house. But the cash you want for the job on hand is available now at General Finance Corporation. People like you with problems like yours have been counting on Friendly Bob Adams for years now. So why not call Friendly Bob yourself? You'll be given full attention by friendly professionals who understand why people sometimes have to borrow. Whether you're resurfacing the driveway, adding a room or garage, fixing the roof, or having some plumbing done, you'll be talking to someone willing to listen and able to help. Call Friendly Bob Adams of General Finance to borrow up to $10,000. He listens to your needs and has the cash to help you out. All that's left is to pick up your loan at your convenient General Finance office. So whatever your money needs, call Friendly Bob Adams at General Finance Corporation. Andover 32020. He can help. There are over 65 offices in the Chicagoland area.
Also an office in Naperville.
While Ray finishes his warm-up tosses here, we had talked about the Ernie Banks montage that's going to be given away at Wrigley Field next Saturday, some 15,000 of them. We've got some other news concerning Ernie, and for you kids of all ages, and it's a big free baseball clinic that's going to be held a week from tomorrow, Saturday morning, September the 24th at 10 o'clock. You can take that in and then go to the ball game. It's going to feature Ernie, and they're going to have it at Horner Park, which is located on the near northwest side of Chicago, just a few minutes away from Wrigley Field at California and Montrose. There'll be free souvenir pictures with Ernie's autograph for everybody, and the first 200 youngsters will also receive free T-shirts. Ernie, talk about baseball, Hall of Fame way, of course, with instructions on hitting, throwing, fielding, and afterwards, 100 youngsters will be selected to be Ernie's guest for that game that day between the Cubs and the Pirates. That's Saturday, a week from tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning, Horner Park, which is located at California and Montrose Avenues, the northwest side of Chicago, just a few minutes from Wrigley Field. Now Steve Henderson getting set to step into the batter's box. That night in July, he was 1 for 2, and he was hitting .243. That was about a month after they got him for Tom Seaver. Now he's hitting .301. 11 homers, 55 runs batted in. Curveball to him, and the right-hander takes it into the dirt, ball 1. So in those 2 months, this young man, Henderson, has hit 8 homers, and he has driven in 45 runs. Burris' fastball. He swings, bounces it foul. Comes over near the Cub dugout. Back on the line to the plate in first base. Ball 1, strike 1 on him. Well, the base Lou, it is now an official game. They can't take that away from us.
That's right. Tough time getting it
yeah.
to go 9 innings, aren't we?
1-1 delivery. Swung on, and he fouls it back out of play. I'd raised the question to a couple of guys here before the game tonight. I said, tell me this, what happens if rain prevents us from anybody coming to bat in this ball game tonight? Is it continued to be a suspended game, or is it a rained-out game, or what? 1-2 pitch swung on, and a high pop-up, dropping quickly into center field, but not too fast because Tars Wallace, playing fairly shallow, was able to come in and haul it in.
Well, Brickhouse went to the rule book and read the rules that state they could play 3 games tomorrow. A suspended game and then the doubleheader, which was a surprise to me, as that'd be the first time in the history of baseball that in Major League Baseball, that can be done. I've played 3 games semi-pro with a day game on Sunday afternoon with the Grove Street Colts of Blue Island in the semi-pro game around Chicago, and Chicago Firemen were in that league, if you remember those, and the Duffy's Balls, and then a doubleheader at night with the Magic Chef softball team. But I've never done it.
I read out of that rule book the paragraph that states specifically you cannot do that.
Well, I don't know which one he was reading.
I read it on the air tonight. I can't find my rule book. What happened to it? Read it specifically. It says you cannot with a suspended game. You can only have two games in one day.
Well, I don't know.
Or in one date. It doesn't even say one day and one date. You know, so you'd have a day-night doubleheader, but you can't have any more than that. And that's the very first paragraph in there. There's a swing and a miss. But my question on the other one was, we'll say that nobody got on base tonight. Nobody was able to be an official batter because of the rain. Has it been a completed game called because of rain after 5.5 innings or 5 full innings? Or is it still suspended? That's what I couldn't get an answer to.
Well,
it's a swing and a foul, first base side, it's 1-2.
I think I can answer that one pitch has to be thrown before it is taken off of the suspended game list.
Well, common sense would indicate that would be it. But I couldn't find anybody to find it in the rule book.
Well, you won't find a lot of things in the rule book that umpires will make a decision on, or the National League president will.
I say, well, that's covered in the special rules.
Yeah.
And a couple of years, there's a ball outside, 2-2. A couple of years ago, we made such a beef about that. The broadcasters and the press, we should be entitled to know whatever rules govern the game of baseball. And they said, you're absolutely right, and by golly, we're going to get that special edition to all the members of the press. Well, 2 years have gone by. We're still waiting.
That umpire manual, I think, is more important than your rule book.
Yeah,
because that's what they go by.
Sure.
That manual has all the different...
you get a so-called official rule book and forget it. It's not really. With a fastball low, it's 3-2. There's a swing and a line drive into right field. A base hit with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning for Bruce Beauclair. He's picking up where he left off that night a couple of months ago when he had lined out twice. Only this time he lines it where there ain't anybody. That gives the Mets officially their 3rd game, their 3rd hit of the night. And it brings up Johnny Stearns. Was thrown out a very fine play by DeJesus that night, and he grounded out to the pitcher, Ray Burris, starting the 5th. We could take a good, clean one-hopper back to Ray right here. Maybe we could get a double play to retire the side. Cubs leading. This is the suspended game by a score of 2-1. And the runner at first, Bruce Beauclair. He goes. There's a swing and a miss, or a swing and a foul, rather, on the hit and run. Johnny Stearns a little bit upset with himself for having fouled that pitch. It was right up at the letters. Denny Summers, third base coach, giving him another set of signs. Coaches at that time been switched around a bit with new manager Joe Torre in charge. Moved Summers over to third and brought in Pignatano, who had been the bullpen coach, to coach at first base. Runner goes again on the hit and run. And a swing and a foul ball that's pulled weakly right past Herman Franks in the Cub dugout as Burris pulled a string on him.
When a manager hit and run on 2 successive pitches,
It's an indication that his hitter has been hitting into double plays and not doing quite well. And it's exactly what Stearns has been doing, because when he was in Chicago on the last trip, he wasn't the Johnny Stearns we saw early in the season.
Talking with some scouts yesterday about him, Lou, up in Montreal, and they've been observing the Mets prior to seeing the Cubs up there in Montreal, and they were talking about this kid. There's a ball low and outside. Said that there were a couple of games in which he appeared to have been so despondent because he had not been able, in key situations, to bring a man in or to advance him. On one game that they had lost, he sat in the dugout some 40 minutes after the ball game was over with his uniform on. And it was Lenny Randall who had to come back out and coax him to come back into the locker room and quit blaming himself for everything that had happened in that ball game that night.
He's that type of a youngster.
Yeah, very competitive. But he has let it bother his hitting a little bit, I guess. Time is called as Burris gets set to pitch. So that will be no pitch. Ball one, strike two. And Johnny Stearns, who was an outstanding football player out in the Denver area, but opted for baseball, comes from quite an athletic family. Runner at first with one away. Ray's pitch to him, swung on, bouncing ball right side. Gets by Keller into right field. Beauclair coming around second on his way to third. Mercer's throw, bounces in too high. He is in there safely. Ball took a very high hop on that first bounce from Bobby Mercer. Johnny Stearns gets the job done. Goes to the right side deliberately. Gets the ball by Kelleher. What's that about Daddy Matlack going tomorrow?
Yes, he has he's going to pitch a simulated game in the bullpen. He has a sore shoulder.
Yeah.
So he will pitch his 6, 7, or 8 innings in the bullpen at 5 minutes intervals. And then if his shoulder does not stiffen up, he will pitch Tuesday.
They had him listed originally to pitch against us in one of the games of the doubleheader on Sunday. With Zachary, he's scheduled to go tomorrow. I wonder, apparently they've scratched him from that Sunday rotation, huh? With the ball game here in the 7th, Cubs leading 2-1. Eddie Cranefull is being brought in to pinch hit now. Batting for Mike Vail. Runners at first and third. Infield hoping for a double play ball. Ray into the stretch. Here's the pitch. Cranefull swings, fouls a high fastball back out of play. Eddie hitting .279 with 10 homers for the year and 34 runs batted in. That, of course, is not very much production. .34 ribbies for him. The tying run perched at third. Go-ahead run at first, and Burris into the stretch with one away delivers. And he takes the fastball, and it just missed away from him. Ball one, strike one with one out. Cars Wallace back in the starting lineup, coming off the disabled list, and Jerry Morales goes on it. And Cars in right center field for Cranefull. Cardinal kind of guards the line and left. Another jet roars overhead. Burris stretched, kicked in the pitch, swung on, line drive down the left field line, and the Mets have tied it up. Here comes the runner going from first to third. Cardinal picks it up, wheels a throw. Cranefull will hold at first base as he wound to Jesus down the line in the outfield grass. Cut off the throw towards third. The Mets have tied it on Eddie Cranefull's 35th run batted in for the year. Lee Maxilli,
Number 16.
stepping into the batter's box. Cranefull's batting where Mike Vail was on that night in July, and Vail had accounted for their only run off of Burris with a homer. Now Cranefull has batted in the tying run. And they have runners at first and third with still one away. And the fleet-footed left-handed hitting Lee Maxilli stepping into the batter's box. hitting .241 for the year. That night in July, he was hitting .225. He has hit 2 homers, or 5 homers in that span of time. Takes the first pitch, a strike at the knees. And Mazzilli with 38 runs batted in for the year now. 21 of them since the Cubs saw him that night in July. The stance just slightly open. Burris' fastball swung on at a high pop foul down the third base line. Looks like it's going to drift into the seats out of play, and it does. Whoa, man, it was close. Cardinale to put on the brakes. He might have had a shot at that one.
I think he made a smart move, Vince, by not catching that ball. Had he caught the ball,
the lead run might have scored.
Oh, yeah. Because he was close enough to the stands he couldn't get enough momentum behind that.
Who was it?
Move
over
to
rock
throw
against us at Wrigley Field. Let us win the ball game.
Crossed over in the foul line?
Yeah. Whether the ball had been fair or foul, if he caught it, ball game was over anyway. He had to take a chance and just let it drop, but he didn't. Made the catch on it. Cub bullpen now is getting busy. That's Ellie with a count of 0-2 on him. What the Cubs need here, strikeout, a pop-up, and the best thing of all, a double play ball. Game is tied at 2 apiece. Ray's pitch. Mazzilli takes the fastball in too tight. 1-2 in the left-hander. Philadelphia, which split down at St. Louis last night, plays a single one down there against the Cards tonight. Pittsburgh playing a pair up at Montreal tonight. Their faint hopes still alive for the Pirates. Ball 1, strike 2. Ray's high curve, and he takes it. Ball 2, strike 2. Things are getting grim, of course, in that American League Western Division race is Kansas City. Won its doubleheader last night, both of them going in overtime. They beat Oakland in the first game 7-6 in 11 innings, and the Royals extended their winning streak by winning the second game 5-4, and that one went 10 innings. And Minnesota handed the Sox a 7-2 defeat, while Texas defeated California. 2-2 delivery coming up, and Mazzilli takes it slow. 3-2. Let's see if they'll send Kranepool now. And he's wanting to know. Summers just now giving him the sign whether or not he should be off with this pitch. Tom Seaver posted a victory last night for Cincinnati out on the coast against the Dodgers, 3-2, to notch his 200th career victory. 3-2 delivery. Kranepool goes. A swing and a miss. Here's the throw to second. They got him trapped. Throw to the plate. The runner coming. Swisher tags him. He is out to retire the side. And a very fine tag by Steve Swisher. An alert play also by Ivan De Jesus as Kranepool had started to pull up between first and second. And the runner at third, breaking for the plate, Johnny Stearns, he carried the lead run. De Jesus flipping the throw in. Swisher going out in front, grabbing that ball, coming back, diving, and tagging Johnny Stearns for an inning-ending double play. 1 run on 3 hits, and 1 man left in the bases. So at the end of 7 full innings of play and the completion of the suspended game, the Cubs come to bat, tied 2-2.
How do Americans perceive the automobile? Well, for years it was considered a luxury, but as of late, a convenience. But today, people want more of their autos, and to get it, they're turning to high performance, gas-saving machines that provide precision handling and sports car excitement. They're turning to Chicagoland's newest Fiat Lancia dealer, Fireside Imports of Schaumburg. Fireside's vast inventory of foreign autos allows you to see, test drive, and compare the world's finest performance cars all in one visit. Fireside's superb collection of exciting Fiats and luxury Lancias, combined with their large selection of Mazda's gas-saving great little cars, to help make one-stop shopping a reality. So if you're looking for an imported car, remember, Fireside Imports has an auto to fit your needs at a discount price that most little foreign car dealers just can't match. If you want more from a car and more from a dealer, visit Fireside Imports on Gulf Road, just west of the Woodfield Shopping Center in Schaumburg.
Let me make a correction schedule here. There's going to be a single game between the Pirates up at Montreal tonight. And here Eddie Cranepool stays in the ball game to play first base, and Bruce Beauclair moves out to right field.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen. For the Mets, now playing first base, and batting sixth, number 7, Eddie Cranepool.
Good at first, by the way, with his third strikeout of this ball game.
Number 4, Bruce Beauclair.
Well, Cincinnati, by winning last night out of the West Coast, holds, still takes a combination of 4 Dodger wins or Cincinnati losses to mathematically clinch it for the Dodgers in the Western Division. Larry Bittner stepping into the batter's box, and the first pitch to him from Koosman is a ball. There's the windup, and the left-hander gets the strike zone right at the knees. Magic number for the Pirates stands at 8. Here's a sidearm curve, and it's a ball in too close. Ball 2, strike 1. Cubs and the Cardinals down to 2. 2 Philadelphia wins or defeats by St. Louis and the Cubs, and it's all over with mathematically for them. Bittner, big swing, and a tap foul right near the plate. Sox are down to 7. Texas down to 7. Minnesota down to 4 over the American League West. Boston, Baltimore, still a hot race for the Yankees, huh? Let's up on that, and it's a little bit low. Ball 3, strike 2. Cranepool deep guards the line at first base. Flynn on the outfield grass at second, and well over to the right side of that infield. Down the line, 341. And 371 in the power alleys, then it extends out to 410 and straightaway center field. Wind up, Koosman, 3-2 pitch. Dips outside. Larry Bittner coaxes a walk. And officially, that's the 5th of this ball game.
Number 7, for right fielder, Bobby Mercer.
Bobby Mercer stepping into the batter's box. That night in July, Bobby was hitting .270, a dozen homers for the year, and 54 runs batted in. He's now hitting .266 with 24 homers, 12 in those 2 months, and 82 runs batted in. Swings and taps a foul ball that goes into the Mets dugout at the first base side. Strike 1 count on him. But he has not been able to drive it and run since the 22nd of August. Randall up close at third. Koosman's pitch, he's going to swing, but he ejects his swing, and that's the ball. Low and outside, ball 1, strike 1 on him. From 2-1, on July the 13th in the Blackout, it is now 2-2. Koosman's curve gets away from Stearns, and here goes Larry Bittner to second base. Ball coming back to the backstop, retrieved by the catcher, and Bittner is on at second. But what should be a wild pitch into the dirt. Thatch Davidson wants to take a look at that ball. First base umpire keeps it in play. They'd had to spread some more sand out on the pitcher's mound. It had showered a little bit. And Koosman now taking some time, the big lefty, who is also slated to pitch the regular game here tonight, had to dig some of the dirt out of his spikes. A count of ball 2, strike 1 on Bobby Mercer with Bittner in scoring position. Game tied at 2 apiece, and each team with 5 hits. There's a swing on a fastball, and Mercer fouls it back out of play. So the count is level on Mercer. We'll repeat that Morales is out for the rest of the year. Broke a finger on his index, the index finger, or ring finger, I should say, of his right hand last night, making a catch-up in Montreal. And Manny Trio out of action with a jam foot that he incurred last night up at Montreal. Sidearm fastball, swung out and missed for strike 3. So there's one gone. Bittner is still at second. Now that gives Koosman his 13th strikeout officially in this ball game. He'd had 11 when the lights went out. That also, they say, ties his personal career high of strikeouts in a ball game. September 16th, when he won his 20th game last year against the Cardinals. He posted 13 strikeouts. And that's his career high. And he's got 13 here now. But instead of being able to win 20, he's in the position of being able to lose 20 tonight. Because now he has a record of 8-18. And he's to be the starting pitcher in the second game. There's a lot of talk and a lot of rumor, of course, that Guzman has to be traded. Makes his home up in Minnesota. He says that's where he'd like to go. Whether or not the Mets will be able to accommodate him or not remains to be seen. Continuation. Hitter here. Now the right-hander's in the batter's spot. And a base hit could restore the Cubs to a one-run lead. The pitch. Fine swings and he fouls a fastball back out of play to the right side. Gene hitting .297 now for the year with 3 homers. 37 runs batted in. And he has not been his usual sharp self at that plate in the last week or so. Rain is coming down harder. We don't need it right now. It's a tied game. There's a swing and a drive into the seats down the right field line. It almost went right through an umbrella. Nothing into the count. Sox tonight are to entertain California. Kansas City is home to Seattle. Minnesota and Texas. Playing down at Arlington tonight. Here's the pitch. It's high. Well, the Yankees open up at Detroit. And Boston will be at Baltimore. The big ones over in the American League. And Philadelphia at St. Louis. Pittsburgh at Montreal. And later tonight, Cincinnati at San Fran. The Dodgers at Los Angeles. And Lyons goes after that pitch and wraps a foul ball back out of play. But the rain falling right now. If it rained so hard that they had to call off this ball game, then you'd have to start all over again. And ain't that something to contemplate? Here's a swing and a ground ball, right side. Cranepool has it. Pitcher goes to third. Cranepool comes up the line, and he barely wins the race to the bag as Klein goes down in a heap. He and Cranepool meeting at first base as Cranepool hesitated for a moment before coming up the line. And he and Klein have run into one another. Harry Dunlop, first base coach, helping him. And Tony Garofalo, the Cub trainer, is out there, and Herman Franks is joining him. Klein's appeared to have suffered a... Well, I better not even hazard a guess on it, but... Garofalo peering into his eye, right eye. May have been more dazed than anything else, or maybe have gotten something into it. Fearful for a moment, he might have got his ankle jammed there. Getting up, brushing himself off. He does have something in that eye. And Garofalo wanted to recheck it. I'm not so sure, but he wasn't called safe down there. Cranepool, as Herman Franks walks up the line towards the Cub dugout, says something to Herman. Herman just got back something over his head. Lyons is going to be called safe there at first base. He's still looking pretty dazed. I mean, he still hasn't said he's ready to play yet. Cranepool with a bit of a smile on his face. Gene had said something to him. Now Dunlop talking with him. He's still shaken up. But he's going to be on at first, and Bittner's going to be on at third. Game is tied.
This is WGN Radio, Chicago.
One away. Story is going out to the mound. And let's take a moment here for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
As we said, this is WGN Radio, Chicago at 2 minutes past 7.
Steve Oliveira stepping in against Guzman. Bittner out at third. We're going to credit Klein for an infield single line. The first pitch, Oliveira takes a strike. It is continuing to rain. We need to complete this eighth inning, both halves of it. Here's the kick, and the pitch swung on, and a foul ball out of play. Just missed another umbrella behind the Mets dugout on the first base side. And we need to have the Cubs leading. Stands right now. This rain continues to fall. And the game remains tied. We'll have to start it all over again, perhaps tomorrow. Here's a swing and a bouncing foul off the edge of the roof of the dugout of the Mets, and it comes out to Dunlop, Cubs coach at first. So it's 0-2 on Steve Oliveira, who had hit a two-run homer back in the second inning of this game in July. Kuzman's pitch to him, swung on, and he taps one out in front of the plate. Kuzman comes in, picks it up, whirls, throws, got him at first base. Bittner had to hold at third. Kleins advances to second, and they're two gone. A little tap out to the pitcher, Jerry Kuzman. And with two gone here in the eighth, Steve Swisher will be the batter. A base hit now could give the Cubs a pair of runs. Rain seems to be letting up just a little bit, but it's still falling. That outfield had to absorb an awful lot of rain as it was showering here all day in New York today. But up just shortly before game time, the infield appears to be in real good shape. It'll have been covered by that big tarp, but it's absorbing some moisture now. Swisher stepping in, and Kuzman's pitch takes its high fastball. In the on-deck circle is Mick Kelleher. This is the suspended game. 1-0 delivery, swung on, foul ball, back out of play to the right side. Steve with a 194 average. His 33 hits this year include 4 homers and 11 runs batted in. Been at bat officially 170 times. He's also walked 9 times. Guzman from the windup with 2 out. The left-hander's delivery is low. Ball 2, strike 1. Cubs with 2 runs, 6 hits. And the Mets with 2 runs, 5 hits. Suspended game being completed. Started back in July the 13th with a blackout. As Guzman veered down to get his sign from Johnny Stern, Swisher stepped out. With a count on him, a ball 2, strike 1. See him wrap one right over that second baseman's head. Here's the pitch to him. Swung on and it right. Hey, get my wish. I don't believe it. Bittner and Kleins are both going to score. How about that, Lou?
Beautiful. He heard you.
Hey. Line drive over Flinza. What I was thinking about was I didn't want him to try to pull the ball and that spot go right with the pitch. By golly, he did it. That gives the Cubs a 4-2 lead.
The second baseman, Mick Kelleher.
Bittner and Gene Kleins have both tallied here on Steve Swisher's 2-out single. And Mick Kelleher stepping in when he led off the 7th inning of this suspended game. He singled, but he was forced at second base on Burris's sacrifice attempt. Cubs now with a 4-2 lead at 7 hits off Kuzman. Here's the pitch. Outside with a fastball. This big left-hander in his career has enjoyed great success against the Cubs. Well, not this year. The kick and the pitch in too close. Lifetime, Kuzman has beaten the Cubs 19 times and has lost to them 10 times, including 1 defeat this year. 2-1 delivery. Swung on and a foul ball out of play to the right side. making his fourth start against the Cubs this season. First one was way back in April, and he wound up with no decision in that one. His loss came to against Rick Russell at Wrigley Field in June. Delivers that pitch low. Ball 3, strike 2. Burris in the on-deck circle. The rain continuing to fall. Seems to be coming down a little harder. We got to have the Mets complete their time at bat in this 8th inning. There's a swing and a drive into right field. It's going to be caught. Beauclair retreating, backpedaling. He's there, and he grabs it to retire the Cubs in the 8th inning. 2 runs on 2 hits and a walk, and 1 man left on. And now we move into the bottom of the 8th with Flynn to lead off, and then the pitcher Koosman due up, and the Cubs leading 4-2.
If you can't fly continental, you might as well not fly. If you can't fly continental, we'll miss you in the sky. If you can't fly continental, we'll treat you the way we do. If you can't fly continental, we're gonna move the cap for you.
Why just fly when you can pub it on Continental? We've got lots of wide-body DC-10 pub flights to choose from. Polish your pub pong game or just sit back and relax with friends and your favorite beverage. And don't forget the concerts, comedy, and sports films at no extra cost. If you can't fly Continental, we'll miss you in the pub.
If you can't fly Continental, we're gonna move the cap for you.
Continental has 5 non-stop DC-10 flights to Los Angeles at 9, 12, 3, 6, and late night. The coach pub is on all mainland DC-10, excluding Hawaii through service.
Greg Gross is now replacing Tyrus Wallace in center field here in the 8th inning. Clyde at pitch hit for Cars.
Ladies and gentlemen, for Chicago, now playing center field, and batting fifth, number 21, Greg Gross.
Gross has done a super job for the Cubs this year.
Number 23, for second baseman,
Doug Flynn steps in to lead off the bottom of the 8th against Ray Burris, who checks out there because the dugout has finally gotten Wallace's attention and moved him way over into right center field against this right-hander that figures going to swing pretty late. On that one, he doesn't swing at all. It's a fastball that misses low and outside. Flynn had made the last out of the 5th inning of this game back in July. The right-hander looks, and there is a strike called, a fastball to him. Mercer guards the line against him in right field. Cardinal gives him the left field line, and he's shallow. Jose is. Ray in the windup. Flynn bailing out on that breaking ball, and it misses outside. Ball 2, strike 1. Once we get the 3 outs in this inning, it is an official ball game. 2-1 delivery. Swung out off the end of the bat. Goes to Kelleher at second. He charges in, picks it up, and it's an easy out to open up the 8th. And a pinch hitter stepping in. Young man. Ron Hodges. Batting for Jerry Koosman. Left-handed hitter. 265 average. He's only been about 102 times this year with 27 base hits, including a homer and 4 runs batted in. That's it for him. First pitch to the ball. There's a swing on a fastball. They loops a foul. Could be caught on a Barris drifting out down near the tarp. Can't quite get to it as he collided with the end of that cylinder where the tarp is rolled up down the left field line in front of the boxes. Just out of his reach. One of the joys of working here at Shea Stadium is to hear the constant roar of those jets coming over from LaGuardia. Just about an Ernie Banks home run shot away. They happen to plant this right directly in the plate pattern. 1 out. Bases are empty and a 1-1 delivery. Curve, and he takes it high. Ball 2, strike 1. In the on-deck circle, Lenny Randall. Right now with a chance to pick up a victory. Here's the wind-up, the pitch. Fastball swung on. He fouls that one way back into the seats behind third. This is all the umbrellas. Bounces around. Ball 2, strike 2. We'll be here again tomorrow. Doubleheader scheduled Sunday. Monday is to be an off day. Then the Cubs down to Philadelphia to meet the Phillies with the final 3 on this road trip before getting back home next Friday. There's a swing, and he pulls a ground ball to Kelleher. Mick has it on the edge of the grass, throws to Bittner, and Hodges is retired, 2 gone. Lenny Randall stepping in is 0 for 3 against Burris in this game. One more out, and it'll be official. It is a light, steady rain that's coming down here at Shea now. Rain that they had told them here at the Mets front office would not start to fall till about 10 o'clock tonight. So it's hit at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours earlier than anticipated. That pitch of the ball to Randall, batting lefty. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a drive into right center field. That's going to be in there for a base hit. Mercer cutting over, can't cut it off. It bounces into the wall. Randall sprinting in towards second. Here's the throw to Kelleher. He's going to try to go to third. The relay throw bounces in. He is in with a triple. Lenny Randall with a triple to deep right center field. Slippery going on that outfield grass. And I think, Lou, that helped to prevent Mercer from getting enough traction under him to cut the ball off.
And I was glad to see him hit the relay man because that was the only chance we had. Last night, we overthrew a relay man, and that, I think, cost us the ball game.
That for Randall is 5th triple of the year. Good little ball player. Here's Harrelson stepping in, batting for the first time officially. Little veteran, hitting 185 for the year. 191 as a left-hander, the way he's going against Burris. Southpaw. Choking up in the bat only about a foot or so. Looks at a strike right at the knees. Bittner back a little bit at first base. Not as deep as he would be in this spot for a real good pull hitter. Here's the wind-up, the delivery, and Harrelson swings at a fastball, lashes a foul. Way back into the light brown seats. Way back behind third, and the count goes to 0-2 on the veteran. Burris working with a wind-up here. Cardinal is very, very shallow and only about 10 feet off the left field line. And Gross shallow in center and playing him to swing a little late. Wind up the delivery. Harrelson looks at the ball, just missing outside. Ball 1, strike 2. We're in the bottom of inning number 8 in the suspended game, with another one slated to be played here tonight. 2 out, and the Cubs leading 4-2. Ray delivers. Here's the pitch. Swung on, another fastball that Harrelson fouls out of play again. He's very, very late going after him. 1-2 count on him. The Cubs have not yet been mathematically eliminated from the Eastern Division. Boy, they're fast approaching it. Started this one back in July with a 4-game lead. 20 games over the 500 mark. Now only 5 games over 500. Here's the pitch. Outside. Ball 2, strike 2. So it has not been a happy 2 months. Trying to stop the skid and see if they can't finish the season on the upbeat. 2 out, a runner at third, and the 2-2 pitch. Goes after, taps one, Kelleher charging in, and he'll get him. He does, by plenty. And the Mets in the 8th inning are retired. Lenny Randall is left stranded with a 2-out triple, the only hit of the inning. And it is now an official ball game in every sense at the end of 8 in this suspended game. The Cubs lead 4-2.
Ray's Rapid Rust Proofing? Meg Doolittle. You rust-proofed my car just a year ago, right? You gave me this chicken feed warranty, right?
Excuse me, ma'am, but...
1 year in my car looks like a relic from the Okefenokee swamp. And this warranty, this is true, this warranty wouldn't guarantee an old raincoat against rust. Listen, fella, I spent a lot of money, and what'd you get me? A car that's camouflaged for hiding out in junkyards.
Brady, please. This is Wong Ho's Chinese Laundry. The last proofers went out of business 6 months ago.
When it comes to rust protection, you need a name you can trust. A name you're sure is going to be around for a long, long time. Z-Bart. The Z-Bart system was invented and patented right here in the United States, and we've been protecting cars longer than any other name in the business. A unique rust-proofing sealant applied by factory-trained technicians using specially designed tools and equipment. You see, we're the original, and we always will be. Z-Bart. It's us or rust.
Z-Bart is listed in the yellow pages under automobile undercoating and rust proofing.
Skip Specs Lockwood is now going to be their new pitcher going into the ninth inning, and Ray Burris stands a good chance right now of picking up a much-needed victory, not only for himself, but for the Cubs. He's going to lead off against this right-hander. Victory now leaves Ray with a mark of 13 and 15, and it stops Cubs' 6-game losing streak. Very, very rare, Lou, that you come into a town and have a series where there are going to be 5 decisions, assuming all the games are played. That's what we got here.
That's right.
Chance to win 5.
Would be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, I got to say this. We could sure use them. And far, far too many L's piling up, making it out for everybody. Say this. Herman Franks, while he's not been his old jolly self that he was the first couple of months of the season, 2.5 months, he has managed somehow to retain a great deal of calm and poise. And he's able to look at things very objectively. I know managers never reveal any emotion anyway. You never did. Things never bothered you.
Never.
A few losses here and there. Boy, I tell you, sometimes he gets that fire in his eyes. You know there's some things he'd really like to get off his chest. Burris slaps Lockwood's first pitch foul. There's a scramble for it. Wet seats over in the first base side. Some of the little kids are out here with the yellow slickers that you see them wearing when they go to school, rainy days. Ray swings and misses at that one. Nothing and 2 count on him. There's a curve, swing and a miss, strike 3. On back and get out of the rain, Ray. In the ninth, the Jesus stepping in with the bases empty, and the Cubs leading 4-2. And Steve Switcher's key hit, a 2-run single that broke a 2-2 tie, and it came with 2 out in the 8th inning. Morales out for the rest of the year. Curve by Lockwood, and the right-hander misses outside. It's a swing and a foul. Back out of play. Bill Koosman, who at this moment would stand to be the loser, would have suffered his 19th loss of the year in a ball game in which he has registered a career, or matched a career high of 13 strikeouts. 1-1 delivery. Fastball swung on, fouled right up over our heads. Almost went into that plane flying overhead. Got to be pretty hardy baseball fans to come out and watch this action here tonight in this rain, and they've had rain here in New York virtually all day. 1-2 delivery. Curve put a little extra on it, missed low and away. But here you get 2 ball clubs that are out of it in the division standings. But these are true baseball fanatics. There's a swing and a high pop-up, and a center fielder slipped and fell. The right fielder coming on, Beauclair. He's there and he grabs it. Lee Matzilli just had the spikes go right out under him, and he wound up sprawled out on that wet grass in center field. But Beauclair came on and hauled it in, and they're 2 away. That will bring up Jose Cardinal. One of the question marks, of course, the Cubs this year, time to time, has been what's the status of Jose Cardinal? Is he going to be with the ball club again next year? And, of course, only time will give us the answer to that, the true answer to it. But Jose has found this to be a down year from a lot of standpoints. Not been able to play as frequently as he has in his other great seasons with the Cubs. Felt at times, the little guy did, as though he were being rejected. Here's a swing and a miss. Ball one, strike one. Well, he has normally been right at the 300 mark with that batting average. This year, he just couldn't get off the ground from spring training on. When he finally did get a chance to play a little regularly, he had some injuries after he got back in the lineup. There's a swing and a tap for a miss. 1-2. Again, did a little better. And he's got now has a 254 average for the year. Every scout you talk to, Lou, asks you the same thing. What about Cardinal? How come he isn't playing? 1-2 pitch. Swung on at a high foul. Back out of play. He said, he hasn't lost it all, have he? Those scouts who haven't had a chance to see him play for a while, they know he's still got talent. But it's been a tough year for him and a lot of points. Other guys were hitting well coming out of spring training, beat him out of the job. There's a curve, and it's a ball low and outside. When he had a chance to get back in the lineup, he had a couple of injuries. He's not the kind of a guy who likes to sit on the bench. 2 out, 2-2 pitch, swung on, gets under it, fouls it back out of play. Jose this year has been in a total of 89 ball games with 205 at bats, 52 hits. Fastball is low. Ball 3, strike 2 on him. Skip Lockwood in relief delivers. Too high, ball 4. Jose brings the bat away. Jogs down to first, elbows tucked in, as usual. Cubs in the 9th inning with 2 outs, leading 4-2 in this suspended game, have Larry Bittner stepping into the batter's box. He led off the 8th inning by drawing a walk. At that time, the game was tied at 2 apiece. Mercer struck out. Gene Clyde's legged out an infield hit. Rainbow not able to get up the line quickly enough. Olivares thrown out by Koosman for out number 2. There's a line shot past the pitcher into right center field. And Cardinal will go from first to third. Mazzelli picks it up on that wet grass, gets it into second base. And Bittner is on with his second hit officially of this ball game. Then Steve Swisher with a 2-run single with 2 out in the 8th, giving the Cubs a lead that they're now enjoying in the 9th inning, 4-2. And Bobby Mercer stepping in with Jose Cardinal at third and Bittner over at first base. Lockwood's first pitch, a swing. A foul back out of play, went after a good fastball. Mercer steps out of the batter's box for a moment. Time is called. He'll have a little bit of rain falling, but not a hard one at the moment. Just a slight shower. He takes, and there's a ball too low. 1-1. It'll take just a bit over 15 minutes between games before they get the second one started tonight. And there's a ball inside the knees, ball 2, strike 1. And in Chicago, between games, Lou and I got a show. Let's talk a little baseball with him. Lou has an interview. Then we'll have the regularly scheduled game. 2 out, 2-1 pitch, swung on, a line drive, base hit into right field. Cardinal jogging up the line will score easily. Bittner has to stop at second. That makes it officially 5-2 Cubs. And that, for Bobby Mercer, is his first run batted in since August the 22nd. Lines a single over the head of the second baseman into right center field. That gives Bobby his 83rd run batted in for the year. Skip Roberts is slated to get a start here tomorrow afternoon for the Cubs. 2 out, 2 on, 2-2 pitch swung on. Bouncing ball right side. It's going to be picked up by Flynn. The second baseman has it. Throws to Greenpool, and the Cubs are retired in the ninth. But they pick up a run on 2 hits and a walk and 2 men left in the bases. So they got a good chance of ending their losing streak here in the suspended game. The Mets coming to bat in the ninth inning with the Cubs leading 5-2.
When you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, you've got a great light beer. A great light beer called Old Style from God's country. Heileman's Old Style is brewed in a traditional old world way called krausening. Krausening is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Most expensive because it takes more time. But Heileman has been brewing beer this way since we first opened our doors back in 1853. Krausening is what makes Old Style the great light beer it is today. Taste the difference Krausening makes. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country. G. Heileman Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Before the Mets come to bat in the bottom of the ninth, let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
And this is WGN Radio Chicago at 7:31.
Steve Henderson is going to be leading off here for the Mets. Pretty good young ball player. Well, that trade was roundly criticized. The New York press, June 15th. They sent Siebert to the Cincinnati Reds. Henderson looks like the kind of a guy who should be on the scene for him for a long, long time. He's got a great attitude. Takes the curve, it's inside. Not only looks a little like he could hit for high average, but he's going to have pretty good power.
Yes, he's going to be a superstar. He continues to improve.
Steps out of the batter's box for a moment. 1-0 count on him. Starts that plate well. Burris' pitch. Takes the strike. Ball 1, strike 1. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau reporting here from wet Shea Stadium. Cubs leading 5-2. Burris' pitch. Snaps the fastball too low. Ball 2, strike 1. Blown away. Montreal is out in front of the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight up in Canada. Philadelphia will be getting underway down in St. Louis shortly. Sox will be entertaining California in Chicago. Here's a swing at Henderson. Bounces a foul. Back out of play. Kansas City Royals. Hot ball club. The 2 doubleheaders from those Oakland A's to extend their winning streak. New high for Kansas City Ball Club. They appear to be headed for another Western Division championship. 2-2 pitch. Fastball, strike, 3 called on Henderson, who thought that pitch was outside. Grumbles a little bit. That gives Ray officially his 4th strikeout in this ball game. 1 out in the 9th inning. Here's Bruce Beauclair. Started the 9th back in July playing at first base, and here in September, finishing this game, he's in right field. Beauclair, left-hander, starting the night hitting .295, swings. Curls a high foul down the left field line, out of play. Still sprinkling here. This will give Burris his 13th win of the year. And would give the Cubs their 76th win of the season. One more than they achieved in either of the last 2 years, and a swing and a miss on a good curveball. Down and in on him. That one exploded. 0-2. Who knows? Maybe the Cubs can get themselves a good winning streak going here to end the season on, huh? 0-2 pitch. Fastball, then he wasted it high and tight. Ball 1, strike 2. Cubs right now have Bittner at first base, Keller at second. DeJesus at short, Olivares at third, with Cardinal, Gross, and Mercer in the outfield, and here's the pitch. Curve, he won't go after it. It's blowing inside. Steve Swisher doing the catching. Number 4, Bruce Beauclair, the New York Mets in the batter's box, with a count now at 2-2 on him. Punts that right foot well in front of the plate. Loops the bat. Here's the windup to pitch. Fastball. He's late. Goes after it. Got a piece of it. Fouled it. Back out of play. It's still 2-2 on it. Mike Krukow and Dennis Lamp are the probable starting pitchers for the Cubs here Sunday in the doubleheader. Both are rookies. Krukow, of course, has been with the ball club all year. Dennis just joined him. Here's a swing and a drive into right field for Beauclair, a single. And with 1 out of the Mets inning, Johnny Stern steps into the batter's box. Got himself a single in the 7th inning, and he sent Beauclair to third with it. And they picked up a run in that 7th that tied up the ball game until Swisher broke that tie open with a 2-run single and 2 outs in the top of the 8th. And Mercer singled in a run at the top of the 9th inning, and the Cubs now leading 5-2. 9 hits to 7 for the Mets. Trying to stop a 6-game losing streak. Burris into the stretch, delivers. Strike called. Beauclair, the runner at first, and Bittner not holding him on, playing behind him a bit. Keller is shaded up a little bit on the right side of the infield. DeJesus back fairly good on the left side. Ray into the stretch. Kicks, delivers, and Stearns takes it high. Ball 1, strike 1. Rain falling a little bit harder here. Soft, steady drizzle. Raised pitch swung on. There's a bouncing foul down the third baseline. Olivares comes in and picks it up. Beauclair will get back to first base, and Johnny Stearns will come back into the batter's box. Cubs' next homestand, of course, is going to be the last one of the season. December 23rd, next Friday, through the 28th. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then a week from tomorrow, you got the big event. First 15,000 fans who get to the ballpark with a fully paid ticket to the box or grandstand area get a free Ernie Banks souvenir montage commemorating Ernie's election to the Hall of Fame. Slider by Ray, and he misses outside. The right-handed hitter, ball 2, strike 2. Next Saturday, the Cubs and the Pirates will be followed into town by the apparent Eastern Division repeating champions, Philadelphia Phillies. 1 out, 1 on. 9th inning. Stearns taking a little time. Now steps back in. Right-handed hitter. Ray into the stretch. Right-hander's pitch. Swung on, a miss for strike 3. And Stearns did not have much of a cut. He says, I didn't go after it. Wendelstedt says, looks to me like you did. So Ray is now 1 out away from getting a victory, and Stearns walking very slowly back to the dugout. Veteran Ed Greenfull stepping in. Entered the ball game as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning and drove in a run with it. Ray in the stretch. Rainbow takes it's the ball, a little bit low. This will give Ray not only a victory, but a complete ball game. Started it in July and finished it in September, if he can get this third out. 1-0 pitch coming up. They're not paying any attention to the runner at first. There's a fastball, and Greenpool takes it for a strike. Out on him down level, it's 1-1. Cubs finally will achieve one more victory than they had in the last 2 years. Let's up on that pitch, and it's too high. Ball 2, strike 1. Let's not fool around now, Ray. Let's get this thing over with. Go out and get him. Made a good start at St. Louis, but wound up suffering a loss down there. Second game of this road trip. 2-1 pitch. Foul, back out of play. Fastball to him. This is all the umbrellas. Bounces into the cream-colored seats way back on the third base side, and the count 2-2 on Cranepool. With 2 out, a runner at first base, and the Cubs leading 5-2. We're still in the suspended game. Was delayed at the outset by rain. Now Cranepool trying to prolong it a little bit more. Veteran levels the bat, now cocks it. Burris has kicked to pitch. Swung out, another fastball to him, and he got a piece of that and fouled it back. Morales out for the rest of the year. The finger injury occurred last night at Montreal. Manny Trio has a game ankle. Running out an infield single last night, jammed it on the bag at Canada. 2 out, 2-2 pitch. Rainbow pulls a ground ball. Game should be over. Kelleher's up with it. Bittner gets to the bag, takes the toss. That's it. The Cubs win. Ray Burris officially has pitched a complete ball game. Started in July and ended in September. The Cubs have officially ended their losing streak. A hit in the inning and a man left on. Now we have another regular scheduled game, but the final in this one, the Cubs 5 and the Mets 2.
Friends, one good turn deserves another, so True Value Hardware stores offer 49 good turns.